What's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 444 on Sifted Games at Sifted.net. I'm Shane Satterfield. I've been doing this for a long damn time, and alongside me is somebody else who's been doing it for a long damn time, and that is Matt Keil. What's up, Matt?
All right.
Right before the show started, Luna jumped down off of the desk and hit the camera, and it was like going like this just as I was about to go on. It was hilarious. How's your week been, Matt?
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine.
Nothing special?
Nothing special.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's good.
Was it good?
It was quite good.
I saw it did 1 million more than the movie that came out last week.
Superman?
Yeah.
I thought it did less.
I just saw the headline. It does 1 million more than Superman.
I mean, that is pretty much. I mean, 220-ish is about what you're gonna get for a good, superhero movie now. But I mean, the days where you could make $1 billion off of it. It's amazing to look at the top listings of Marvel, the MCU stuff, because the top 12, only 2 of them didn't make $1 billion.
Wow.
It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
And even the ones that didn't made 800, 900.
Right. It almost.
Everyone rips on Doctor Strange too, but it made $955 million.
Now they pray for that.
And now, yeah. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what Doomsday does.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw, but Rebecca Romijn, Mystique.
Yeah.
Probably she wasn't supposed to say this because I've heard some things before, but she's like I don't know if I'm done shooting for Doomsday because they haven't actually finished the script yet.
What?
And they've been shooting since April.
Oh my gosh!
And I guess that's a good way to free your schedule up because I bet you are done shooting now.
Maybe that was her plan.
Maybe that was the point. Yeah. I'm like, please
get me
out of this chicken shit outfit. But yeah. So Doomsday is. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It seems like a mess.
I mean, it sounds like a mess.
I mean, obviously you could have a Shakespeare in Love situation where it all works out in the end, but nobody knows. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I feel like that's every superhero movie now is kind of how I feel about it.
Well, Superman.
I wait to hear from you, basically.
Superman's really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is really good. I like Thunderbolts.
I had forgotten that there was a Fantastic Four movie back in 2015 or something.
Oh, yeah. They would like you to forget that. The Josh Trank movie was...
the one I remember is from 2007.
Weird.
And I don't know if you remember this. You and I were at a cookout at our friend Mark's house. And it was a July 4th cookout or something, and they had skywritten Fantastic Four in the sky, and it was there all day while we were there at the picnic, slowly dissipating or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that was the last one. That was 2007, I think.
Yeah, that was Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, no, they did that again this time, and a bunch of weirdos thought it was chemtrails.
Anything in the sky.
Or they thought it was a secret. What symbols are there? I'm like, it's a 4, dumbass. You just can't see it from this angle. Skywriting. It's marketing. Jesus.
The skywriting now is insane how accurate it is.
Yeah.
It looks like things are actually printed in the sky now. It's that accurate and that clear.
But they no, it was definitely good. But it's I think you're gonna have to just accept that these movies make about $220 million opening weekend.
Box office opening week.
And that's about it. Especially because you don't have China propping it up anymore.
Right.
That market's pretty much closed. And I think unless you are Spider-Man, you are going to have to accept a smaller payout.
Spidey seems to be Teflon, though.
Spider-Man is the most popular superhero of all time.
Especially
in terms of merchandising. Merchandise. If you look at the comparison of merchandise sales for all the different superheroes, Spider-Man's out here, and all of Marvel's down here, and Batman's here, and all of DC is a sliver.
I bought my nephews.
Spider-Man
I bought all of them
Spidey
defeated. Stuff. It's his all their favorites. Every nephew I have, their favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
And it's been that way since the Fox Kids show in the 90s. It was
that way when I was a kid. He was my favorite Spider-Man, my favorite superhero too.
I was saying to some of my younger friends about probably one of the first comics I ever read was Spider-Man, and it was a Marvel team up stuff that my cousin gave me when I was very, very young. And I'm like, in 1979, 80 was the, and I'm like, Spider-Man had only been around for 17 years when I first. Think about how young that is. And
how quickly he's become.
It's crazy that when I was growing up and I was reading X-Men and you'd see these references to these old, the Death of Phoenix story and all the these classic X-Men stories.
Yeah.
That most of us couldn't read because we couldn't afford those back issues, and trade paperback collections weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah.
But those stories were like 8 years old.
I know.
Like we were thinking like, oh, back in the 60s. No, Death of Phoenix was like when I was like 5.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
yeah.
We just missed those issues.
Yeah, because we were too young. And
like you couldn't go back and get them because they're worth like hundreds of dollars by the time like we were collecting the comics and like able to like go understand what we were buying.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous.
Different world. Kids know everything now.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, we didn't have cell phones. It's like if you didn't come into contact with somebody, you just didn't know.
Well, it helps that they don't have to collect the actual issues anymore because they're all just online.
You can just watch. Check out a PDF.
Yeah, check a PDF. Look at Marvel Universe. Whatever you want. I mean, I mean, nobody reads those except people our age now. Anyway. Yeah. When our generation dies off, that's the end of comic books.
I know. It's crazy. Well, it's not the end of video games because we're here to talk about video games today on GameFace 444. Hopefully, you guys are having an awesome week. I'll tell you one thing. I played a ton of games this week. We got a lot of games on the docket today. We are going to be more brief with our coverage of games in this episode because we need to be. Because we have so many games to get through. The end of this month really had a bunch of big releases. And then Grounded 2 comes out today or tomorrow, I think. And initial reviews for that, have you seen them, Matt? They're like gigantic. People are calling it like the best survival game ever made.
Which game?
Grounded 2. Yeah. So that'll be in next week's show. We didn't get review code for that, unfortunately. But believe me, we are packed to the gills today with a bunch of content. And also, I mean, the first story we're going to discuss today is PlayStation may be going third party. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on there. So it's been actually a really big week in games. July is closing things out with some thunder, for sure. Let's check in with you guys and see how you guys are doing. See how your week's been progressing. See if we got any Twitch Prime up in here already. The Abrams says manga is doing much better with younger people. They love it. Yeah. All my nephews love anime and manga.
And as a matter of fact, DC had a huge hit on their hands because they put out a bunch of their like kind of evergreen, the top-selling comic book things of all time in terms of like book sales remain The Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, and The Death of Superman, pretty much in that order. And they put out those and a couple other their evergreen sort of Long Halloween and things like that in collections that are manga sized, like those little smaller books. Yeah. And they are their top selling. They outsold every other comic book format, everything, the whole year of 2023 and 2024. Like, they didn't outsell the manga, but they also like Western comic. Like that's the key. Like you put them in that because again, it makes sense to me also not just because it's what they're familiar with, because it's like it's so convenient. You can just take that and throw it in a bag, throw it in a backpack, pull it out, read it when you're at the bus. Like no wonder that size works.
The last nephew that came to visit us, the only thing he wanted to do in Los Angeles, and think about it, there's beaches and all this other stuff. The only thing he wanted to do was go to a manga store. Because where he lives, there's no such thing. He has to order stuff online. He's like, I would just love to go to a store where it's just stuff I can buy that I love.
Here we just call it Barnes and Noble.
Right. It's really, but it's crazy, you know?
It's huge.
But that's the way my nephews are. Even some of my nieces are kind of into it. Like, they're not into it as much as the nephews, but they're into it a little bit. Like, they know, like, what the popular ones are. They know the basic plot points of the more popular ones.
I mean, if you look at I think girls are more into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, when you go to the Barnes and Noble here, like certainly the one at the Grove or the one in Burbank, like
that's where we went actually.
Yeah,
to Burbank.
You'll see there's more girls sitting around reading because that's
awesome.
These kids go and they pull stuff off the shelf and they sit near the shelves and read them and don't buy them.
Right. Which we did as
well. But
like
most of the people,
I did the same thing when I was there.
You see just gaggles of like tween girls doing that more than anything that I mean, it partly depends on like the audience and what they're stocking with.
Yeah.
But like I mean that's the thing is like manga. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
really
more
expanded.
so
It's
than
way
Western,
bigger now than it was.
Yeah, more so than Western comic. Well, because
Yeah.
they bring a lot more stuff over here now.
Swan Senpai says manga has better writing. Obviously, not all comics and manga, but the majority of modern comics have poor writing and art.
Well, there's a
art. I definitely prefer the art in manga generally.
Well, there's a reason that like with manga, you're basically being like, oh, just read this series. Whereas with like Western, especially superhero comics, you're like, read the Hickman run of 14 issues of Fantastic Four. Like, don't read all of Fantastic Four. Just read this section that this one writer did.
Yeah.
Like Western comic fans constantly talk about specific runs.
Right. No, they do. You're right. It's a thing.
And certainly manga fans talk about, I thought this story arc was better than this story arc, but very rarely are you going to find someone being like, oh, just read this part to this part and don't read the rest of it. Yeah. Whereas Western comics is very much like creator driven. But also manga is very creator driven. It's just the creators basically get to finish out their stories. Western comics have to last forever, and manga is allowed to, even if you're doing One Piece, which takes like a human lifetime to tell its one story, you are allowed to end the story. That's the advantage.
Yeah.
It's like Marvel can never stop.
That's true. No, you're right. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Eric Carmena says Fantastic Four greater than Superman.
I would probably agree with that. And I think I probably will agree with it more the further distance it was just really nice to see Superman portrayed properly.
It's like when you're real thirsty.
Again,
no matter, every drink tastes great.
It's the first time we've seen Superman the way Superman is supposed to be portrayed since Superman Returns, and it's the first good Superman movie since 1980. So there's something to that. And I also am not a Fantastic Four fan. Like, I actively kind of don't like the Fantastic Four as in the comic. I've never been interested in them, I think. But this was really good. Like, it was and also, I've said for years, if you're going to do the Fantastic Four, you got to start it in the 60s. You got to have them be this, like, cornball crew.
Yeah.
And I am desperately hoping that they have... at some point, they're going to end up in the main MCU universe, and have because in their universe they're the only superheroes really, and they kind of run the world, and it's all great.
Yeah,
like the whole world
they're handling it.
It's like a Jetsons utopia basically. And if they get in the main MCU, it's going to be like they have to have it explain like what's going on, and they're going to be like, "What the hell are you people doing?" And I'm like, please get Ant-Man's friend Luis to explain that all to them, like the way he would sum up things for Ant-Man. Like, please bring that man back, and please bring Pena back and have him do the full like rundown of the MCU so far for Reed Richards, while with Pedro Pascal just staring at him like, what the fuck?
Mr. Jack 535, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Hope you're having a good week. Nightwing 3060, happy Tuesday to you. What else we got up in here? Swan Senpai says, I used to be there day one for Marvel films. Now I couldn't care less. Last one I saw in the cinema was Far From Home. You're not alone, obviously, if they're struggling to get to 200 and some million in opening weekend.
A lot of people have seen him in cinema since Far From Home. That was a long time ago.
Right. That is a really long time.
even I didn't see Brave New World in the theater.
Yeah, I mean, that shows you, though.
Not intentionally. Like, I had tickets that night, but it was raining here, and I had to keep my balcony from flooding because it was raining so hard, and I just never got around to going
never went
back
going
to
again.
It. It's only the second MCU movie I didn't see in theaters. The only other one was Thor 1, because after Iron Man 2, I was like, well, that was a nice idea, but I guess it's just not going to happen.
And then
it still did, And then, of course, I saw Thor later, and I was like, oh, that was actually pretty good. I wish I had seen it in the theater. I didn't think Brave New World was all that good when I finally saw it, because I have them all on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I still collect them, but I took a picture of my shelf of because I have all of them lined up. I took a picture of it, and I'm like, I sent it to some of my friends. I'm like, look how long ago the Golden Age was.
Yeah.
Like when you go back to that stretch of like Civil War, Black Panther and Infinity War and all that. It's like, and like it's like halfway back.
I know.
It's so much has come out, and we don't think about it because no one remembers the Eternals.
No, you're right.
It's like,
no, it's true. Most people don't even think that the MCU is really happening still.
it's because there's no connective to.
Well, I mean, people think it ended.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, it did. Like,
it did.
If you just closed everything out with Endgame and maybe Far From Home as an epilogue, like you've just got the box set of all time, just done.
Yeah.
And then you kept going. And none of it connected. One of Fantastic Four's strengths is that it has nothing to do with anything else.
Oh, good.
It's its own
thing fresh slate.
In another universe, and obviously it'll cross
over eventually. Yeah.
With Doomsday, but that movie has nothing to do with the rest of the MCU in any way, and it's actually really refreshing.
That's what I figured.
It's like Fantastic Four 3. Because they're established, they've been Fantastic Four for like 3 or 4 years. They've fought a bunch of their classic villains and mentioned some of that. And it's like, it's like, what if we'd done 2 origin movies already, and now we were getting to the Galactus stuff in like the 3rd or 4th Fantastic Four movie, and it really works.
Cool. Joaquin Dragoon, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. That's freaking awesome. Appreciate it.
Also, during Fantastic Four, I said something I have never said in my entire life. I really identify with Reed Richards right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple scenes in there where I'm like, oh wow, I really
I
get
can connect with that.
And that's never happened before in any medium for any reason. So well done, Matt Shackman and Pedro Pascal. You knocked Reed Richards out of the park, and they show Sue Storm properly powerful, because Susan Storm is one of the most powerful mortals in the entire universe.
Yeah.
And so you get to see that too. It's good. It's real good.
Curtis O'Neill, over on YouTube, how's your car, Shane? Still not fixed.
Yeah.
So the insurance company, I believe my car was hit in the parking garage of my complex. And so they had to pull the surveillance footage of the garage, and that took a bunch of days. And they had to send it to my insurance company, and now they're in the process of looking at it. So nothing has happened. My car's still mashed on the side. I'm still waiting. Bottom line is it looks like I'm going to have to pay to get it fixed. So I don't think there's going to be a good outcome, but I'm just trying everything I can to avoid that, but we'll see. It really sucks that people just aren't honest anymore. Maybe they don't have insurance, and they're just like, oh, this will ruin me or whatever. But yeah, I'm probably going to have to eat it and pay for it. Mr. Blue Sky, glad I caught this live. Glad you could make it live, Mr. Blue Sky. This is only, our third week on YouTube or fourth week?
Oh, it's more like 4 or 5.
Has it been 4?
Yeah.
Mike's Q is back. You're going to be more careful this week, I have a feeling. If you leave, make sure you double check something before you click submit on your chat. That's all I'm going to say. And then he says, growing up, my dad's favorite comic was the Hulk versus the Thing. Yeah. Tavis can't stick around, but appreciate GameFace. Appreciate you, Tavis, for stopping by and saying hello. And then Matthew Pillis says that Downey's Dr. Doom is the only thing that makes me nervous. I'm okay. I think he's just great. I'm okay with anything he does.
What makes me nervous is that they don't know how the second half of the movie's going to go if they haven't finished the script. That's the concerning part.
Yeah.
Clearly they know where they want to end up. They just don't know how to get there. It's like, well, yeah, Act 2 was the hardest thing to write in anything. Downey Doomsday... I mean, there are alternate stories in the comics where Tony Stark becomes essentially Dr. Doom. I'm sure he's not the real Victor Von Doom, essentially, and we'll probably see a real Victor Von Doom at some point in these next 2 Avengers movies. It smacks of desperation.
It does, but I still think he'll do a good job with the role.
I mean, Downey's one of the most watchable people in all of acting right now, and has been since he was if I ever met Downey Jr., I would bring up Heart and Souls, because I thought he was I remember seeing that as a teenager. I thought he was really good.
I can't think of any role he hasn't been good in. Can you?
No,
not one.
He's always good.
He's always nails it.
He's one of the best of his entire generation.
Mike's Q comes back. He says, Matt, have you heard anything about RDJ finishing the Holmes trilogy?
He would like to, but there's no possible way anyone's going to give them money for a third one of those.
Yeah,
I did like those movies.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They're pretty good, but no, the second one just didn't make any money, and I can't imagine they think there's any real market for that anymore.
Yeah,
because the thing is, Downey Jr. is great, but he also doesn't guarantee a big movie. It doesn't guarantee a big opening. Really. Yeah. That's the weird thing about the Marvel movies is they made a lot of people famous, but they didn't make them bankable stars.
Yeah.
No one sees and loves the Thor stuff and then goes to see Chris Hemsworth guaranteed in another movie.
Yeah.
Because they want to see Thor. They don't want to see Chris Hemsworth. It's weird.
Yeah.
The age of the movie star is basically, if you look at the top 10 grossing actors of all time, it's 9 Marvel characters and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is the last movie star.
Yeah, he is, really.
In terms of someone everybody knows and can head up a film and promote a film,
and people
will go see that movie because he's in it.
It's true.
Now, granted, we're kind of just want to see how he almost died this time, but he's a legitimate movie star for all his weird caveats.
Yeah, he is.
But it's and then although I think if you really want to say the biggest, if you extend it to not starring roles, I'm pretty sure Frank Welker is the top grossing film person of all time.
And most people would not know that.
No, because he voices every single creature you've ever heard of. So every time a dog barks, it's Frank Welker. And
that's hilarious.
And so technically he's in the movie. So he gets his total is actually no. Actually, you know who it is now? Stan Lee.
Oh.
Because his cameo in every single Marvel movie,
right.
Add up all of that.
That's right.
It's Stan Lee.
You're right. That's funny.
It's Stan Lee.
Well, here we are for GameFace 444. Actually, I had a big milestone this week personally. It was yesterday at around 3 p.m. Pacific time was the 25th anniversary of myself moving to California. She was my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife. We pulled into San Francisco yesterday, 25 years ago, around 3 p.m. and started our adventure in California. And it feels like it's been like the blink of an eye and just a flash in the pan. But then I started thinking back to everything that has happened since we got here. And I'm like, oh no, it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. I have now lived in Los Angeles longer than I've lived anywhere in my life. Because my parents got divorced when I was 3. And anyone who's the product of a divorced parent's family, you know how it is. You bounce around. You end up living a bunch of different places because your parents are single parents and the money isn't so easy to come by. And so you end up getting shoveled around and blah, blah, blah. So this is the longest I've ever lived in one place, Los Angeles. So I do feel like a true Angelino at this point, Matt. But what a wild ride it's been. I just want to say personally, I want to thank some people. First of all, Joe Fielder, who is now like the lead writer at Obsidian. He was the head of editorial at GameSpot in 1999 and 2000. And it's crazy, Matt. I just sent my resume in for a job at GameSpot. That's all I did. Just sent it in, and I got a call and an email. I did 2 interviews, and they brought me out to check that place out and look for places to live. 2 interviews. Now, any job that you try to get in America, it's like a 4-month process where you interview 7 times and then you go in, and that's before you even meet anybody in person.
And if you don't get it 3 months in, they just never talk to you
again.
Yeah,
they ghost you or whatever. 2 interviews, and they flew me out to San Francisco. I met Joe. I met some of the team. I checked out the city, and then they sent me a check to relocate, and I was out. That was only 25 years ago, how different things were then. But I owe Joe Fielder pretty much everything. I guess he saw something in me or whatever. Thank God he did. So Joe Fielder, and then Adam Sessler, who got me the job working with you guys at Tech TV, and then G4. I appreciate him. And then there was a headhunter or a person named Alex Porter who put me in contact with MTV back in the day to get the job at Game Trailers, and then I got promoted up to work at Spike and all that kind of stuff. So Alex Porter, and then the guy who hired me at Game Trailers, John Slesser. Big thanks to those people. Obviously, that job prepared me to be able to run my own media company. It's been a crazy ride. And then just thanks to just everybody. Thanks to you, Matt, for being a great friend and helping with SIFTD, and all you people who are our patrons or just help us with Twitch Prime or just anything that you do to help me or have done to help me in the last 25 years. Thank you. I think of so many people that I have known in California that are not here anymore. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's been one of the tough parts for me, is that when you get older, it's harder to make friends. It's harder to meet new people. You're not going out to the bars every night, going clubbing all the time.
I will say that all the people I hang out with in LA now, except for you, are all people I've met after 40.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Yeah. Interesting. For me, it's like I had a huge group of friends. They all moved away because they either lost their jobs and couldn't afford to stay here, or they just wanted to leave or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I got new friends.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, most of the people that we knew for the last 15 years or whatever are gone. They don't live here anymore. So I'm very fortunate. I feel fortunate to still be here because I've seen so many people come and go. Like when I first moved to the Bay Area, there was a crew of like 10 people from Philadelphia living in San Francisco. So when I got there, it's like I had a circle of friends right away. They're all gone. They don't live in San Francisco anymore. Like I'm kind of the last one left of all the transplants that I knew that came out here. Yeah. So I feel very fortunate.
This week is 21 years since we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember when you came. I'm probably been the same week.
It was the same week, yeah.
Because we were all starting on August 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I came down, and my moving truck was like a week and a half after I got. So I drove down, threw all my bags, my original Xbox, and my little monitor I brought so I could play Burnout 3 while I waited for the rest of my furniture to arrive. Threw them all in my empty apartment, and I went over to the Century City Theater to meet Blair Butler to see The Village by M. Night Shyamalan. And we walked out being like, well, I hope that wasn't an omen of what's going to happen now.
and it wasn't. Everything went great.
It was fine. But it was a time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Defloyd on YouTube says, just keep swimming. That's what I've been doing. I just keep swimming as hard as I can. And sometimes you got to swim real hard. I just saw somebody on Twitch say it. Yeah. Matter of fact, it took me 1.5 years to get a full-time job. Yeah.
Yep. I know people who worked on Star Wars movies who've been out of work for 1.5 years right now. It's crazy.
TV Hardy, thank you for Twitch Prime. My wife, when we first got to San Francisco, I was only making $35,000 a year, my first job at GameSpot. And I was supporting both of us. It took my wife almost 6 months to get a full-time job when we got here. And that was when San Francisco was insane, the whole .com bubble thing and all that. And
first time I moved to LA, I moved to Woodland Hills, which isn't really LA. I mean, we call it L.A. This is the Valley. It took me 3 months to get a job. Yeah. And at the time, that was forever. Yeah. Like, it was like, oh my God, you weren't working for 3. That's great. And nowadays, it's like, you got a job in 3 months? That's so fast. Like, it's a completely different world. When we got laid off at G4, they changed how you applied for jobs since the last time I did that. It was 12 years.
It's all different.
And I'm like, you don't. No, paper. We don't use paper anymore. Yeah. It's like, oh, you just don't. It's either you know somebody or you don't get anything.
My wife was working for a startup 5 years ago that got sold, and she was not a part of the people that kept working there. They just replaced everybody or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it took her 7 months to find a full-time job. 7 months. And that was her busting her butt, like sending in 5-6 applications a day, every day. Like, it was her full-time job. And it took her 6 months to get a job. So I hear you, man. It is not easy to survive here. I have a lot of respect for anybody, particularly people who came here from outside, because in LA there's definitely a bias towards people who went to UCLA and USC. Like, a lot of the hiring managers went to those schools and they prioritize people from those schools. If you're someone from the East Coast and you've come here and you've managed to survive, you have busted your ass. I guarantee it. Like, there's no doubt about it. So I have a lot of respect for anybody from outside of California who has survived a long amount of time here. It's not easy. There's no doubt about it. TV Hardy, again, thank you for Twitch Prime. Frosty Boy. Hearing 50-year-old guys talking about how it's hard to make friends makes me scared to turn 50. Yeah. Well, see, what happens is you settle into your life, and I have a wife, and like, if I don't meet anyone through her, or I don't meet anyone through like what we do here, when do you meet people? Mm-hmm. It's like, once you get to a certain age, you kind of stand out when you go to the club. It's like, if you're at a certain point, you become like the creeper who's like hanging out in the corner.
Well, I met people through freelancing for so long.
Yeah, that works too.
And going to different parties, and
I'm about to start playing pickleball, and I have a feeling I'm going to start meeting some people.
You
too.
Are 50.
Yep.
Pickleball.
I can't play tennis anymore. I'm too old. I've had my knee reconstructed twice. It's like, if I can run 10 feet instead of 40 feet,
you're gonna still hurt your knee doing that.
You're probably right,
because you're so competitive.
No, you're right. That's true. Yeah. Anyway, again, a huge thanks to anybody who is even a little part in me managing to stay here in California. I truly love it here, and I will not leave unless I have to. That's one thing I will say. If I ever leave here, it's not because I wanted to, it's because I had to. I'll just put it that way.
I think that's how a lot of people are.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have had to.
Yeah. Everybody I know has had to, or chose to eventually, because they're like, I want a house, Yeah. I'm tired of living in an apartment. Like, I want to go somewhere where I can basically pay cash for a house.
Yeah. Although now...
not anymore.
Well, now apparently, rentals are the majority of suburbs now.
Mm-hmm. Like, the housing market is finally starting to collapse as well.
And I say, bring it on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. So anyway, welcome to GameFace, episode 444. We're about to get started and start talking about some video games, and we have a lot to get to in today's show. But of course, before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, LS Cream. LS Cream is a fine cream liqueur created by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. It's inspired by an ancestral recipe from Haiti called Cray Mass, and a double gold winner for its original taste at the New York Wine and Spirit International Competition. LS Cream can be enjoyed on the rocks or as a mixer for drinks with its rich blend of fresh cream and neutral grain spirits with notes of coconut, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. It's great in coffee or to make espresso martinis. To learn more, discover amazing drink recipes, or to track down your own bottle using a handy store locator, head to creamls.com/sifted. That's creamls.com/sifted. So, Stevens Charles, the head of LS Cream, contacted me recently and said that he is planning a trip out to Los Angeles. So maybe we'll do a little something special with him while he's in town, but he is on the road trying to be the evangelist for LS Cream, and that's what I'm here doing as well. Go to creamls.com/sifted. Get yourself your own bottle of LS Cream. I promise you, you will not regret it. I say on this show every time that every person who has bought LS Cream has never come back to me and said I was wrong or complained. Not one ever. That tells you all you need to know. There is somebody, no matter how awesome something is, Matt, there's somebody that hates it. And, and a lot of times there's a lot of people that hate it. But not LS Cream. I've literally never had a single person complain about buying LS Cream. I've had people reach out to me and be like, I can't find it. Can you help me? And stuff like that. but never somebody who bought it and was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Shane. This stuff isn't good. That's because it's awesome. Go to creamls.com/sifted. Get your own bottle locally. Figure out how to buy one online. No matter how you get it, you're going to love it. I promise you, you're going to love LS Cream. All right. It's time to get into the show proper. And we're going to kick things off with a pretty big surprise this week, Matt. It feels like a lot of news gets broken in the games industry with job listings. It really feels like half of the stuff.
You mean like last night's thing where it turns out they're making another DC live service game?
Right. Yeah. And that was a job listing.
They just don't learn.
They just don't get it. It's like, well, it's the thing is it's a gold mine. So these publishers are just like, if we keep swinging and missing, as long as we hit one.
Right. But it's like, could you give us something to do in the meantime?
In the meantime, particularly with WB.
And one of the things that has been annoying to me, like in the wake of the Superman movie, I wanted to play some DC stuff, but there aren't any good Superman games. So I've just replayed.
Injustice?
I replayed the whole Arkham series.
Oh, you did?
Well, not Knight, because fuck that game.
Yeah.
But I replayed Asylum, City, and Origins.
Wow.
And they're all still very good.
Yeah.
Actually, Origins is a lot better than I gave it credit for
really?
originally. Maybe the PC version's just a little cleaned up. But like that one's really it's the best story. It's the best written
Well, I think
one.
a lot of people just intrinsically think that it's the inferior version because it had different developers or whatever.
Somewhat, but I think it absolutely has the best story of all of them. Like it's the best written one, and it actually is fun to see younger because no one's afraid of him yet.
Yeah,
so he's kind of like trying to prove himself and stuff, and he kind of it's different.
Yeah.
No, they're all still really good.
Yeah.
I miss those games.
Yeah.
Because they're so old now.
I think they're coming back. I think they are.
One day.
Hey, TV Hardy, thank you for gifting all those subs to our chat, man. That's awesome. We appreciate it. Well, the other big news this week that came from a job listing is that PlayStation is getting really serious about going multi-platform.
It's like they enjoy money or something.
Yeah. So here's the thing that struck me the most, Matt, about this is that this story, obviously, I think it broke on like Friday. And people talked about it all weekend. When I first saw the story on Facebook, I didn't believe it. Because Facebook, let's be honest, man, a lot of that is just clickbait. Little outlets that are just putting stuff up to get eyeballs. So I saw it and I was like, that's probably nonsense, and just scrolled on by or whatever. It turns out it was not nonsense. And the whole weekend, the internet was talking about this job listing at PlayStation to work with Nintendo and Xbox and PC. That's pretty much the crux of the entire job. And the job listing is real. So on Saturday, I saw that it was starting to blow up. I went and checked, and sure enough, the job listing was there. My next thought was, okay, this listing is going to be taken down. And it'll be gone by tomorrow, or it'll be gone by Monday, or it'll be gone by Tuesday. Nope, it is still up right now.
Did you apply?
I did not. I don't think I'm qualified for the job. I mean, I know I could do it.
I was going to say you could do it.
They'd never give me a chance, though. They'd hire somebody else to do it. But anyway... I'm just going to read the verbiage from the ad because I don't want to misconstrue anything, and I think reading it will kind of make the point for me. So here's the job description. Reporting to the Vice President of Commercial Management as Senior Director of Multi-Platform and Account Management. You will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Game Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. This role is accountable for optimizing title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment, and leading a high-performing team focused on multi-platform expansion, mid-range commercial planning, and platform partner management. And then they listed a couple requirements, and those were oversee the out-of-year mid-range commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios titles across all non-PlayStation platforms, driving long-term revenue growth. This is not some flash in the pan, and audience reach. And the second one was partner with marketing, product, and global publishing teams to develop and execute cohesive launch plans and lifecycle strategies for multi-platform titles, lead platform relationships across PC and console ecosystems. And again, they share Steam, Epic, Xbox, and Nintendo, ensuring strong collaboration, promotional effectiveness, and performance optimization. So, Matt, is PlayStation going multi-platform?
I mean, not any more than they already are.
You don't think so? You think it's just a continuation of what it's already doing?
100%.
What games?
Like, I don't think you're going to be seeing Last of Us 3 on a simultaneous release with everything.
Yeah, I mean, day and date.
This is just because this is going so well for them as another set of revenue streams that they want someone to really help plan it and move. I mean, it makes sense, I think, to like, even if you're just going to continue doing what they've been doing and giving kind of a year or maybe a little less, a little more, like, of PlayStation exclusivity and then move to other platforms, like yeah, of course you want someone planning all that. You want, I mean, you want everyone to know Helldivers 2 is coming out on Xbox now. Like, you want someone whose entire job is to make sure everybody knows when PlayStation stuff is coming to other platforms, because there's an audience there that would never pay attention to it otherwise, because they don't pay attention to PlayStation.
Do you think that hiring for this position, though, might be a sign that they're increasing what they've been doing because they need to fill this position now? Or maybe, or do you think they're just like, this is a deficit that we need to fix?
I think they're literally saying, like, this is a revenue stream that is proven valuable, and we think we can make it better and more efficient if someone is specifically managing this, and our PlayStation brand managers don't have to worry about it.
I see.
I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of offload that idea onto someone who specializes in it.
I agree with you. I don't think day and date will happen on Xbox. If there's a better chance,
there's an argument for Steam and Epic. There's definitely an argument for PC.
Yeah, like day and date on PC.
Yeah, as long as they're prepared. I mean, I would have, if I had a choice, I would have bought Death Stranding 2 on PC. Maybe they're smart.
I think a lot of people's minds are starting to shift in that direction, man. Yeah, I don't think you're alone there.
It seems like it.
Because also consoles are getting to the point where it's like, why not just build the prices?
Yeah,
like,
considering what the PS6 is probably going to cost.
Right. I mean, that's going to be a big decision for people with PS6.
Yeah.
Do I build a gaming PC or do I buy the PlayStation 6?
Yeah, at that point, it's like, well, it seems... I mean, if the PlayStation 6 costs what we think it's going to cost based on what the PS5 Pro costs, like... It really seems like it makes a lot more sense to just wait that 8 months to 16 months to just get it on PC and have a nice gaming PC. Like, yeah, you're behind the curve in terms of cutting edge right now. This game just came out for PlayStation exclusives, but you're saving so much money that who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with you. I don't think day and date is happening on any platform, and if it is going to happen, it would be this order. PC, then Switch, then Xbox.
Yeah.
But I don't think that'll happen. But I do think that we may start seeing PlayStation do with its first-party stuff what we're seeing Xbox do with some of its first-party stuff. Because it is kind of getting to the point now where almost every Xbox game is day and date on PlayStation. There's a couple that it still holds back. Not a lot, but still a couple.
Well, after making all that money with Forza Horizon 5, like, how do you
Why would you? Yeah, how could you not do day and date? But so I don't think PlayStation will get to that point, but I do think we'll start seeing, like, much shorter windows, and I think you'll start seeing some of these big first-party games coming to Xbox eventually.
Yeah, I think Helldivers 2 is your litmus for that. Like, it's certainly not going to take a year, but it's 6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
like that's a good window.
Like this game, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Would PlayStation fans care if this was launched for Xbox now or Switch 2? It can't run on Switch 2, but
no. Well, also it's like.
But just for sake of argument.
They spent a long time talking about how this could never run on Xbox.
But we all know that's not true.
If you put it on Xbox, you kind of like...
This game's really old at this point, and like, I don't think PlayStation fans still covet it. You know, it's been out on the market for so long. Everyone's bought it at this point that wants to buy it.
I think there's an argument to be made to do even more, like, more back catalog stuff, where it's like, just again... It doesn't quite work both ways, because with Xbox you've got a bunch of you're kind of the smaller second or third place person, and you've got this huge PlayStation audience that has maybe not had a chance to play like some of your exclusives. With PlayStation, it's like, well, these are actually kind of the top dogs of the industry, and yeah, I guess you could let Xbox players play Ratchet, but Xbox isn't exactly a goldmine of software sales to begin with, so it's not really... Like, I know Xbox is on that list, but I can't imagine that's really where they're expecting their bread to be buttered. This feels much more like a Epic and Steam excursion with, like, Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft kind of thrown in, because obviously they're going to be involved at some time. But I feel like PC is where they're really focusing this.
What about games like The Last of Us Part 2? Like, at this point, why not?
I guess. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know what kind of sales you're looking at on Xbox.
Well, here's the thing. You know for a fact that those games are not going to go to Game Pass. So if you're an Xbox owner and you want to play those PlayStation first-party games, you're going to have to buy
Right,
them.
but what I'm saying is, like, who are these Xbox owners that only have an Xbox and no gaming PC and no PlayStation? Like,
there's only 20 million.
Like, I just don't know if that stream runs both ways.
Yeah,
you know?
and you're right. And the Switch 2 market would be the better market to tap. One, because it's a completely different market that probably won't piss off your fans as much. But two, the install base is so much bigger. But the hardware is too weak.
But it's also a lot of people that maybe haven't owned a PlayStation.
Right.
Because the Nintendo fan base tends to be a little more insular.
That's true.
I just don't see Xbox as a particularly enticing target for them. Obviously, it's still there. Like you know, they're putting Helldivers on it. It's you know, you got to consider it. But it just, I mean, going through the time and cost and effort of making a Last of Us 2 Xbox version
for a 25 million install base.
I don't know about that. You know.
I mean, at this point, though, it's
if you can make it work on Switch 2, though.
I mean, you could probably sell another 2 million copies of it on Xbox, would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could combine that project into, like, one whole thing. Like, if you can make the Switch version and the Xbox version, like, one budget somehow, you could probably pull it out.
Yeah.
Just Xbox, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough sell. I mean, I guess you're right. It depends on how much work is involved. But I do think with even a 25 million install base, you could probably get 2 million of those people to buy the big PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah, you just need to have almost zero overhead.
Right. It'd have to cost like 10 million or something like that.
Yeah, it would have to be like convenient to do anyway.
Right.
Because of something you're already doing.
It has to be a no-brainer.
Maybe basically. I mean, maybe some of this is like making, you know, this position in part is about like making sure that you've got, you know, these other versions of the games being built alongside the initial versions, so you have it ready to go even if you're not putting it out day and date.
And to be fair, the way games are built now, no one's really working with proprietary hardware anymore. It's not that hard to port stuff anymore. It's just really not. So my guess is it wouldn't be that much to port some of these games over, but
probably not. But it's still money spent for, you know, how much payout.
Yeah, and I don't think Nintendo's platforms are capable of running PlayStation's exclusives. So I agree with you. I think probably this is mostly about PC. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like Gran Turismo 7 or they try to return the favor or something like that. But
well, I mean, certainly for the future, because there's not going to be Forza Motorsport. So
right. There's a big hole.
There's like a weird symbiosis of driving game styles that could happen here.
They're sharing. Yeah. Xbox is sending them their arcade racing game, and PlayStation is sending back its driving sim.
Yeah, it could happen.
Maybe stuff like that. I agree with you. Stuff like this, God of War, probably never going to happen. Last of Us, probably never going to happen. But what about stuff that doesn't sell like 15 or 20 million, instead sells like 8 or whatever, like Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei?
Again, I don't know if it's worth them. Again, I will say that's probably not going to work too well in general because playing this on PC with an Xbox controller sucked.
Yeah,
it needs that touchpad.
Oh, you're right. That's right. For this franchise in particular, it's a bigger
some
deal.
Some of the PlayStation exclusives really don't work without that touchppad.
It's true. Yeah, they have to find some way to work around it. And truth is, you just don't have that.
The workaround on this was really clunky.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I think it's a case by case basis, very much so.
Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea for PlayStation to go third party? Maybe not day and date, but like 6 month, 12 month delay.
I think it's. I mean, again, I think the more people who can play something, the better.
Yeah.
I get like exclusivity used to be the big deal when selling hardware and having that hardware be where everyone played your games was the basically the focal point of the industry, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
So I think diversifying here is probably the right move, especially given the direction things are going. I
mean, the game for the first Death Stranding is already available on other platforms. So you know, it's pretty much a no-brainer that this one's eventually going to come to other.
Yeah,
at least PC for sure.
I think getting things on as much stuff as it'll run it, as long as there's some kind of market you think that as long as you're not wasting money or losing money doing it, I think is a good idea. As Motoko Kusanagi said, over specialize and you breed in weakness.
Yeah. Why do you think Nintendo and Xbox were mentioned in the job listing?
Because they're the other platforms they would be considering if they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they are already putting Helldivers 2 on Xbox.
Right.
So
yeah,
it is going to be part of the deal.
Nintendo, I think, is the bigger one that I'm like, that seems...
I mean, you could probably put Helldivers 2 on Xbox.
Yeah, or on Switch 2. You probably could. It wouldn't look quite as good.
Almost anything from PS4 era could run on Switch 2.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a huge moneymaker for Sony.
And you could, I mean, everything's scalable. Like, I know we went through the whole, like, only on PlayStation 5 because of the hard drive access speed or whatever bullshit that was when, you know, I mean, not that we've ever really bought that line of shit. I mean, everything with an SSD can do that, really. Yeah. I note that they don't, the hard drive doesn't need to be the exact 728 gigs or whatever it had to be for optimal blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But, it just, you know, you could probably cram Returnal on Switch 2, right?
I think so.
Like, maybe you turn down some of the bells and whistles or something, but, like, I don't see a reason you couldn't do that.
I think, to your point, Matt, I think maybe it really is about PS4. I mean, pretty much every PlayStation exclusive on PS4, I feel like Sony would be an idiot not to port it over to Switch 2.
Yeah, I think just about everything on the Switch 2, on the PS4 could have a new life on Switch 2 for at least a little bit.
You could sell another couple million units for probably not
Especially if there's no fucking games coming out.
Right, because Sony needs to sell some software. It's not putting out software to sell. So
and Switch 2 needs some games.
Yeah.
Like, there's some AAA stuff for Switch 2 that they don't need to give more dev kits to the other companies.
Oh, there's going to be holes in the Switch 2 release schedule all over the place. Yeah. And if you could fill in with, like...
It's a good time to really lean on that whole old, you know, the old NBC thing for the reruns of summer. It's new to you if you haven't seen it. Kind of
even The Last of Us Part 1 on Switch 2. That audience, there's a lot of people who buy Nintendo consoles, and that's the only thing they buy.
Man, you let me dress Ellie and Joel as Mario and Luigi, and I'm in.
But I seriously think, though, that games like that could be a big money boon for Sony and PlayStation. I
think so.
And it just feels like the only reason that this isn't happening is because there's just this stigma that's been built up for decades that's just not how things work. PlayStation, you got to play PlayStation games on a PlayStation console. You got to play Nintendo games. And I will say this. I think Nintendo will be the last man standing.
Oh, Nintendo
in the walled garden.
Yeah, they will never leave that.
I don't think it will ever release a game for Xbox or PlayStation. Ever.
No, the Nintendo bunker holds strong.
It's in a position where it doesn't need to either.
No, why would it?
I mean, it's making more money than it can count. So it doesn't really need
it. It
has
no real competition.
Yeah.
It's the only one that does what it does. It's the only one that does what it does at its price point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
They have no reason to change.
So I think it's more likely that it's going to be PlayStation and Nintendo. Xbox a distant third. And I think, again, to your point, it's because the installed base for Xbox Series X and S is so small.
And I'll tell you, man, like, there's some weird... their messaging on the new Xbox is just awful. And I ran into that this week where it was somebody talking about... One of my dev friends, he was online, and he was talking about how he ran into somebody who was asking about an Xbox Series 10. And he's like, you mean Series X? Got Series X? And then a bunch of other people who are actively in video game development were like, wait, what's the Series what? What is that? Series 10? There's a 10? And like, no, it's Series X, but it's a Roman numeral. Like, oh, well, there's also a Series S. And someone's like, I think you misspelled Series 5. And it was like, and people like, wait, is it 5? And like, nobody really was 100% sure.
It's really
and it's because it's just so weird and like there's no progression. You can't just be, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, you wanted to call it something else, but then you called that second one the 360 because you didn't want to call it the Xbox 2.
Right.
And now you're stuck coming up with some other weird name.
Stupid nomenclature. It's so dumb. Like, they just need to say, you know what? We were stupid. We're just going to call the next Xbox the Xbox 4 or 5 or whatever they want to call it.
Well, I always thought they should have just called it the Xbox.
Right.
Just call it Xbox.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, because now everything's backwards compatible. Yeah. Doesn't even matter.
And I think that might be where they're going, where they keep doing all this stuff, where they with the headset, with the Rogue. There's like, this is an Xbox,
right?
And I feel like that's your kind of preview of how they're going to market stuff. Because I think the new Xbox consoles are just going to have like little model numbers or and you're just going to call it's just going to be this is an Xbox.
My Xbox.
It's an Xbox.
I think that's smart. I think that's probably what it should do.
I think that's all it is. And if you care about like frame rate or power or ray tracing or whatever, you can get more in the nitty gritty on which one you're getting. But in general, I think they are going to just focus on like Xbox. Does it have that green X on it? That's an Xbox. Don't worry about it. It's like
seriously.
Don't worry about it.
It's like if people didn't worry about Series X and S, they're not going to worry about just calling it an Xbox either. Right. It'll be interesting just to see how Xbox even positions the next hardware. If it's even going to position it like something that people should buy. Because does it want people to buy consoles anymore? Like, I don't know. Everything is just kind of backwards, it feels like at this point. It's hard to find like rhyme or reason. But here's another franchise that, like, why wouldn't you release this for other platforms? The Spider-Man stuff.
Well, that's up to Marvel, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, why wouldn't Marvel want more money?
Theoretically, Marvel would want their things on everything.
So these might be games that are prime for going to other platforms as well. Obviously, they're already on PC and all that, but Switch 2 and maybe Xbox, these games would probably sell very, very well.
I think they would be very good choices for Switch 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you can get them to work right.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening here. The other part about it is that Sony's a Japanese company, and they're not going to comment on this. So we're never going to get any official word about this at all. We're just going to have to try to figure it out on our own and watch for more job listings. And honestly, just watch what PlayStation does. How do you think the fans of PlayStation feel about this? Do you think they'll care about any of this stuff?
I don't care what they think.
I get that, but
I don't know.
PlayStation does.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to what any of those people say. So I have no idea what their attitude is. I mean, they'd probably be weird about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't pay attention. It was news to me that there were still Xbox, PlayStation console wars like a year ago. I was like, really? People still think this hasn't been over for years? Like, what do you
since the PS4?
What do you think the Xbox is going to do exactly?
I mean, it's been over for a decade at least. Yeah, it really has. And
it was over the instant Sony did that, like, you can play your used games and sell them back, whatever video out of their hotel room.
And now it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Nobody
does that anyway. It's like, oh, look, we ended up there anyway, didn't we? Because that was inevitably the fucking future, whether you like it or not. Look at that.
But you know what? That little thing that PlayStation did may have won PlayStation that generation.
But you know what? If Xbox had been allowed to go through with their thing, you'd be able to sell your digital games back to the storefront for credit.
Right.
And we can't do that
No, that's right. That's true.
So how'd that work out for you, dumb shits?
Yeah. Let's check in with chat.
Like, neither one was particularly appealing, but at least the Xbox model gave you a chance to get some money back when you were done with something digitally.
Yeah.
Like, we basically said no thank you to that, and now we're stuck with it.
Yep. On YouTube, The Legacy says, if the next-gen Xbox has a stock Windows that has access to Steam, it'll be able to play PlayStation PC games without any extra work. We've mentioned that on the show before.
I can't imagine that is not that has to be what they're doing. That has to be the plan. If the Rogue is going to be that way, there's no reason the next Xbox wouldn't be that way. And now they're starting to let you stream your old console library on PC, the PC app. So clearly they want to unify everything, and they're not afraid of having Steam integration because you can do that on the Xbox app too. So why not?
Yeah. Deal says on YouTube that the Switch 2 can play all the PlayStation exclusives except for Ratchet. I don't believe that at all.
I know that Ratchet has the whole thing, only we can access the hard drive fast enough to load in. And I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe it. It's just an SSD. That's all it is.
I mean,
it's not witchcraft.
I mean, we've certainly seen it running with they did it with the regular hard drive, and it's it takes away. Obviously, there's a difference.
Yeah. Cinetype says, I don't understand fans of PlayStation who would never buy a PC but complain when the games go to PC later.
Yeah, what is it if bother? It doesn't affect you.
Yeah, why do you care? I hear you. Fanboys are insane. Cinetype also says, I always felt the series name was Dumb AF. No rationale for it whatsoever. Agreed. Retro Modern Gamer says, Apple said, screw it, iOS, and jump from the teens to iOS 26 for the year it's coming out. You're right. To make it easier to figure out which year iOS you're running.
I mean, Windows did that too. Windows 95 was all of a
That's
sudden.
right. Nightwing 3060 says Mag is coming back. I can't believe you even remember that. Contano says Nintendo's extremely stingy console-centric nature is why I only buy Nintendo used. Interesting. By their games used, I'm guessing. JJ Forcebreaker, they can't get lower in market share than Stadia, and we know where Stadia is now, don't we? In the dustbin. Swan Senpai, imagine the Nintendo could be the best console to own if Sony and Microsoft games came to it. Yeah, of course it would be.
I mean, you could certainly end up with a situation where it's just have a gaming PC and a Switch 2, and you're covered.
And that's everything. Out of Baldy's way. Thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Vincent says, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Death Stranding is in this week's Direct. Yeah. Yep. Astrobot with HD Rumble. Andy T. Monahan says... Ashes in the Hourglass says, other than the PS5 exclusives, all the PlayStation games can work on Switch 2. I don't know about that.
Well, I mean,
Some of them.
I mean, anything that's not PS5 exclusive also runs on PS4. So yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could do the Demon's Souls remake on Switch 2.
Andy T. Monahan says, Final Fantasy 16 didn't exactly do well outside of Spider-Man or Ghost of Tsushima. What IP would sell better? Better than what? Final Fantasy 16, he's asking there?
I guess. I don't know.
Retro Modern Gamer, they could put PS4 game on Switch 2 since it's about equal. That's what I was saying. I think the whole PS4 library, and I'm sure third parties are looking at that too. They're like, hey, We have these games from like 8 or 9 years ago.
A lot of the Switch launch lineup was that.
Mm-hmm. And I think
they know.
I think the third party is going to continue to be that. Whether that's good or bad, I guess that depends on your perspective. Bad for us, as someone who's been playing those games all along. Good for Nintendo fans who have only owned Nintendo platforms.
Yeah, clearly it worked out okay for them at launch.
Yeah.
Like those things seem to have sold just fine. Obviously, to me, it was one game at launch because everything else is stuff I played literally years ago. But, whatever. Like, if that's what the audience wants, that's what the audience... I mean, it's a different group.
I also feel like we're not going to see any changes from this for months.
No.
Like, they still haven't hired this position yet. So it's going to take them months to do that. And then they get into... Maybe by the end of the year, we start seeing some changes. But
I mean, I think most of this is going to be a behind the scenes thing. It's just going to be like planning things, planning out marketing for this stuff, making sure that there's marketing blitzes for the other versions of them, not just the PlayStation version, that make it clear that this is not the PlayStation version. This is for the thing you own if you don't have a PlayStation. Yeah. Basically that, like making sure there's someone who can kind of spearhead the push to make sure everyone knows that even if you don't own a PlayStation, you can still play PlayStation games.
Yeah. I think by the end of the year, we'll start getting some announcements is what I meant. Like, they'll start saying, well, 3-month window for this to come to PC, or The Last of Us Part 1 coming to Switch 2 in June
I would
of
imagine
2026.
we'll start we might start hearing by maybe Game Awards. Like maybe we'll get some trailers for some Switch 2 versions of PS4 games.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Or maybe we'll get some... I mean, my hope on this would be that because they start delving into the back catalog, maybe they start dredging up some older stuff to put it on Switch as collections. I mean, maybe we would finally get an updated Infamous collection or some stuff saved from the PS3.
Or what a bunch of, like a whole collection of old Ratchet and Clank games for Switch 2.
That's definitely on...
I mean, that's right in the Switch wheelhouse.
That's also... I mean, that's what I'm talking about when I say PS3, because there are collections of Ratchet games, Jak and Daxter games, Sly's games, Killzone. There are collections of all those games on PS3, but they've never come forward.
And I hate to break it to you, PlayStation fans, but Insomniac's games going on a Nintendo platform would make a lot of people at Insomniac very happy.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I hate to break it to you. Most of those people over there are huge Nintendo fans. Like, huge. Yeah. So I'm sure that's something that's been in the back of their mind all along. Like, they also, look, they tried, Insomniac, tried to bring the Nintendo aesthetic to PlayStation with Ratchet and Clank and 3D platformers and games targeted towards a younger audience. Didn't really catch on like the way it did at Nintendo, but they found their own little niche inside the PlayStation fandom, and their games have sold more than well enough to continue making them, which is all that matters. So, Insomniac, I can pretty much guarantee, is pushing internally to like, hey, we got these old Ratchet games that are just doing nothing right now. Let's just port them to Switch 2.
Including a couple that are literally, you can't get them anymore. Like the middle one in the PS3 trilogy, I don't think you can get anymore because it was digital only.
Right. Yeah.
That wasn't
yeah,
Crack
that
in
was
Time.
Not Going Commando.
Going Commando was the third PS2 one.
Right. Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank Future was the PS3 one, and then was the second one Crack in Time?
I think it was.
And then the third one
it was the reboot, wasn't it? Or was that the one based on the CG film?
No,
that was a PS4 game.
That was a PS4. That was just a remake of the first game.
Right. Yeah.
The
reboot.
The PS3 trilogy was Future, Crack in Time, and a third one.
Yeah, I can't remember what that is. Somebody with Google handy could help us out with that, though. If I scroll down through our chat anyway, get to the end of it. Quest for Booty. Thank you. This is for Vidya Games.
Crack in Time was the third one. Quest for Booty was the digital middle.
Okay.
That's right.
So yeah, there's missing games out there too that they could bring. That could add a little bit of a splash to those games coming to Switch
or
too.
Even just like, I mean, I think it sounds like they are doing a maybe a collection of the PS2 era God of War stuff. But I'd like to see more of the Sony back catalog. That
would be great for Switch as well.
The Uncharted collection. That's something. I mean, that's already on PS4. You could put that on other stuff and just test the water
easily. Why not? I mean, again, these are markets that have in Nintendo's case, a lot of those people have never owned a PlayStation.
Well, and also
platform.
There's not really anything like Uncharted on the Switch 2, is there? I mean,
most of Sony stuff, there's nothing like that on Nintendo.
Well, it's funny that, like, for that period of time, the stop-and-pop shooters, everybody was fucking tired of them, and now it's just like, I don't remember the last time I played one of those.
They just don't happen anymore.
They don't exist anymore.
Last time I played with WinBack, I played on...
Man, I tried to play WinBack.
Virtual console.
I tried to play WinBack on the virtual on the Switch. The Switch too. Yeah. And man, That it actually started a whole thing because like I was like, oh, what? Aiming is on the right bumper.
It's insane.
And shooting is the A button. Like just we hadn't codified how these things controlled yet. And I started kind of thinking about, especially also having played the Soul Reaver remasters and the Gex games, because those have very different cameras. And I'm like, what was the first game to really master the 3D camera where like you could control the character and look around with the camera at the same time?
Super Mario 64.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
Absolutely not. Because you had to...
I got good at it.
Right, that's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about being able to maneuver with the right stick the way we do now. Because that's a skill. Because like, if you play with someone that doesn't play video games too much, they don't know to move the camera while they're moving the character. It's not.
No, it's a big-time skill.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of because in like Soul Reaver, you can't really, and Gex especially, you can't really move the camera if you're moving. You have to sort of stand still and look around in Soul Reaver. And with Gex, you use the shoulder buttons, and it moves it almost like it's like in Mario 64.
Steps, yeah.
It moves it in steps around, and you have to kind of like. And if it hits an obstacle or a wall, it stops and won't move, and it's like, bah, bah, bah. And you're like, fuck you. Like, at least Mario didn't make noises at me when it hit. And I was trying to figure out like what was the first one back and forth. And I talked to some of my friends, I talked to some of my dev people, and a lot of the dev people I knew are ex-Ubisoft people, and they basically said it was Beyond Good and Evil and Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
I was about to say Prince of Persia,
with an assist from Splinter Cell.
Oh.
The independent look with the right stick while moving around and being able to do movement with the character. And plus, Ubisoft had the thing and still do, where they were like, the camera will kind of free look and follow the important stuff even if you're not babysitting it, because that was a thing. They used to hire people that were specifically camera operator people to make sure, and they figured it all out. And when my cutoff for my friends was, I'm like, nobody say anything after 2006. Like, if you're saying Assassin's Creed 1, no. Like, the camera was solved by that point. And I found out that apparently that's all part of that whole initiative, going back to Prince of Persia.
Interesting.
The modern 3D camera was really given to us by Ubisoft. So thank an ex-Ubi dev for the fact that we can see things properly now.
Yeah.
That was just a tangent I went off on after kind of thinking about all this stuff and how those things just work so differently, and like that Winback was, because I remember I beat Winback. I finished Winback, and I'm like, I can't even get past the fucking training section on it. Like, it's so different. Like the way we had to just to adapt to such weird things.
Yeah. And we did, because we wanted to play so bad.
And I dug up the old GameSpot review where they docked Alien Resurrection a bunch of points because they used the right stick for looking in the first person. The review's like, what a ridiculous thing. Like, you find yourself staring at the ceiling or the ground while a bunch of aliens just rip your guts out. And I was like, it literally got dinged for doing that because no one did that. Yeah. Also because everyone was like, oh my god, to look on the right stick. No, you look with your left thumb because of GoldenEye. It was a totally different world.
Yeah. And now it's all just solved, and we know how to do it. It's just organically. I don't even think about moving the camera.
No,
I just do it. My brain just does it.
But
I'm constantly giving myself the best view to play.
But give a non-gamer Portal. Yeah. And watch how they don't understand how they can move and look and aim at the same time.
Yep. All right, well, that's our discussion on PlayStation, likely going third party. We're about to talk about Wuchang, Fallen Feathers, but before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, The Repair app. Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation? Don't toss it, boss it with The Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat, because trash is so last century. So Matt, I have finally figured out what the first thing is that I am going to get repaired through the Repair app, and it is my GameCube. It is the only Nintendo console I've ever owned that has had an issue, and consequently, the only Nintendo console with a disc drive. But I get disc read errors on my GameCube. Like, I go to play it, and it'll say, it literally on the screen, it'll say disc read error on the screen. I can get it to play every once in a while if I, like, have it sitting just right or whatever. But for some reason, the optical disc on that is having an issue. And back when it started happening, people were afraid of tearing apart the GameCube. Like, it's not easy to take apart. Like, I watch people take it apart, and I was like, I'll fix it myself, because there's videos on YouTube. Oh, I got like 3 minutes into that video, and I was like, F that. I'm not doing that. The GameCube, the way it's built, very hard to service. But now they've figured it out. There's tons of tutorial videos. And believe it or not, there are tons of like electronics and game console repair places in LA. So that's going to be my first goal, is to get a new optical drive put into my GameCube when the repair app launches. Have you identified anything that you want to have fixed?
I don't think
you
so.
You just buy it new, I guess.
Well, I can't think of anything that's really broken.
Yeah.
I guess I could send one of my old Saturns in.
What's wrong with your Saturn?
It just doesn't work.
Really? And you have no idea? No power? No.
Well, it was my one from back in the day, and I had modded it with a mod chip with a little switch in the back. And
I did the same thing with my GameCube.
And like the switch doesn't really work anymore, and it doesn't really load up. So
Yeah.
I bought another Saturn for cheap off of eBay, and that one works fine. Mm-hmm. And now
why would you worry about the old one?
And now I would just like put the disc in my PC and play through the emulator. Anyway.
Oh right, yeah, you don't even need the console at all anymore.
I played Dragon Force the last time, I just put the disc in the PC and played it that way.
And I guess I could do the same thing with the Dolphin emulator. Honestly,
yeah, you could.
But
I still have my GameCube hooked up to my other TV. I mean, I have the old systems mostly hooked up in there, and like it's something about the. I mean, yeah, Dolphin's great, but there is something about playing a GameCube game through the progressive scan that just has and hearing it do that weird noise the disc drive makes and stuff. There's something nice about it.
Yeah, I was the GameCube and GBA editor at GameSpot, and so I have 200 like pre-produced silvers was what they were called for GameCube, and all they were just pre-produced discs that had no printing on them that they would send out for review or preview if they didn't want to send you the locked brown box to review the game. If they're like, well, we'll just send you a disc, they sent what's called silvers. And so I have silvers for games that never came out for GameCube. Like games where they would send them out for preview, they'd realize there's no market for the game, and they just kill the GameCube version. That happened a lot.
Oh, that's right. That
happened a lot.
Suddenly there was no GameCube version of things. That's true.
And they had already sent me builds, and I have those builds.
I only have one GameCube Silver.
Oh, really? I have tons.
And that's not. I imagine it's not. It's everything or nothing.
And I have NR discs too, where you need the Aqua reader to play those. And I want to be honest with you, I don't know what happened to the readers at Game Trailers. Like, I hope they return them because they were
those are all supposed to go back to Nintendo.
They're under my name. I don't know where they ended up.
I don't know. Who knows? I have a Debug 360 in the garage.
Do you?
I don't know. It was literally the one we used to play stuff live on the air.
Yeah.
And it was literally sitting there. Like it was just sitting in and no one had G4 was shutting down. It was off, so I'm like, I guess I'll take this. So I don't know, Microsoft, if you want that back for some reason, I got it.
I have random.
It probably doesn't even turn on anymore.
Yeah, I occasionally have random people who contact me about this stuff. They're like, hey, you worked at GameSpot in 2000. Like, do you have any old preview builds of games that never came out? And I'm like, I do. And they're like, well, that's what we do. We get that stuff and we pull the code off of it and we save it and maintain it. And I'm like, well, I'll take your number, and when I'm ready to get rid of this stuff, I'll contact you. So, yeah, people zero in on people who have been in the industry for a long time and try to get that stuff. I do have a lot of it.
It does happen. The only thing I think I have of note of that kind of thing is I have an early preview build of Dark Souls that I bet the From Software people would love to poke at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it has other people's names on it, so I don't really want to give it to anybody.
No, I hear you. So anyway, go to... that sparked this whole discussion. We know you guys can have this discussion as well. You guys have stuff in your closets that broke or doesn't work anymore, and you miss it. You wish you could still use it. You wish you could still wear it. You wish you could still play it. That's what the repair app is all about. It's sustaining things. It's so we're avoiding throwing stuff in a landfill, whether it's clothing or electronics or whatever. Again, go to therepair.app.
iFrosty Boy does make a good point.
What did he say?
Some of those prototype Nintendo games go for 4 or 5 figures.
Really?
They can.
Wow.
Get the right one, especially the stuff that never came out.
Mm-hmm. But it's like Activision's like wakeboarding game.
Doesn't matter.
Where they just cut the GameCube version.
And how many of those do you think exist still? If you're talking about a crazy collector who wants a complete set of
right.
everything that ever existed, how many times are they going to find? Also,
I can actually tell you how many, because the disc often says
right.
4 out of 50.
But that's not even what I'm saying. How many of those 50 you think still exist?
Right. And the other thing is disc
how many
rot.
of those 50, disc rot for sure.
Yeah.
People just throwing them out. I'm sure I've thrown some of those out where I don't care. I mean, why would I keep wakeboarding whatever?
Yeah.
So you're talking about something that maybe 20 exists in the world.
Yeah.
And maybe how many of those exist from someone who took care of it and knows where it is, and how many of those have people that someone who understands the value of what they have.
Right.
So you get some importance if you again, you talk about knowing when to sell.
Lot of them.
You talk about knowing when to sell. It might be time to go through some of that and figure it out.
Yeah, seriously. I have stuff for Dreamcast as well.
Before the people willing to pay you $10,000 for
a
silver, before they die. Yeah.
Seriously, I'm starting to get on it, so I'm starting to think about it. But anyway, it's all about the repair app. This is the type of stuff that you can do. You can save old things that you thought were broken, you've written off, you put it in the back of your closet, never thought you'd see it again. Go back in there, find that stuff, get ready. Go to the repair.app, sign up there. You'll get alerted when the app launches, and then you can just go into the process and get all your stuff fixed. It'll be awesome, and you're helping the environment. You're helping people in Uganda who have big piles of old clothes that we've sent them next to their villages, which is just disgusting. All that kind of stuff. The big patches of garbage that's floating in the oceans. We can try to fix all that stuff. The repair app is a good start for that. So anyway, go to therepair.app, sign up, and very soon, you'll get alerted when we're ready to rock and roll and start fixing all our stuff. Okay. Next up, we're talking about a Souls-like, Matt. It just feels to me like this is not a subgenre anymore. This is like a genre now.
No, it's kind of its own thing now.
It feels like it's... I mean, we get more of these than we get 3D platformers. Yeah. Like, way more.
I mean, it's its own thing as much as something's like a roguelikes are their own thing.
Yeah.
Metroidvanias, immersive sims.
Yeah, yep. This one it's very derivative, I would say, of this. I'll call it a genre now, the Souls-like genre. I've struggled to find a whole lot that was unique about this game, comparing it to other.
The closest I can tell you is like, for whatever reason, this feels more like playing an older Dark Souls game than almost any other Souls-like I've played in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative way. I also don't mean it in a 100% positive way. But like this, I don't know, like this maybe feels like it could have been a From game as much as any, in the sense that the level design is better than these usually have.
Yeah.
I have found myself being interested in where I'm exploring and be like, oh, I wonder what's up there, in a way that I simply do not in most of these Souls-likes. Even in like a lot of like Elden Ring, where I'm just like, yeah, it's up there, probably the same boss I've fought 4 times, you know? This one... And I was surprised because I didn't even really want to play this. I wasn't really interested in this because, again, like you say, it's its own genre. It fucking happens constantly. These games are
not special anymore.
Dozen.
Yeah.
But again, it was on Game Pass, so I'm like, why the hell not?
Yeah.
It's better than not having played it and sitting here looking at you for 20 minutes, not having any idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So I played it and like I actually like this one.
Yeah.
The different weapons have basically completely different skill trees. So like, and it's different because like, you know me, I am a sword person. I love swords in terms of in games. Like if I'm gonna pick something, I'm gonna pick usually a straight sword.
I stuck with the sword in this too, actually.
I did not.
Oh really?
I use the axe.
Oh.
And I never use the axe. And I am the long axe is my favorite weapon in this game.
Oh wow.
A mix of the long axe and that starting sword, especially once you open the counter attack ability with the sword, which is I think gonna get nerfed because that counter is really good.
Yeah, once you get good at the counters in this, the game isn't that hard.
Well, it's interesting because it's interesting to me because like you can't block with the sword, you can block with the axe. So I kind of did both of those, and then the other weapons have different. Like there's a double sword, 2 swords, and you don't block with those. You clash,
right?
And if you can clash, you deflect almost all the damage from the attack. Like it's very interesting. Like the timing based kind of parry stuff. It's not all the same thing. It's not just the same old damn parry system that you've used 1,000 times since Demon Souls. They do different things with it, and I think that's pretty cool.
Well, what I thought was the coolest thing about the parry and the dodging system in this is that when you do it, you refill your magic meter.
Right, but there's multiple ways to do that too. Like the axe, the 4th hit on your light combo refills your magic meter if you get that upgrade. I mean, it's an upgrade. Right. But like the number of ways you can get your little feather meter or whatever up, which lets you do powered up versions of your weapon attacks and cast spells and do that. That's the balance. Is dodging fills that, different combos, the parts of the combos, like with a sword, I think with the upgrade it's like the second hit of the light combo gives you a charge of magic.
Yeah.
That's the system basically. You need those things to do enough damage to survive a boss fight, and I would almost say it's elegant.
It is.
There's an elegance to
I
it.
actually cheesed the first boss with that system. So all I did, I fought him the first 10 times, and it was typical Dark Souls for me. Get hit 5 times, die, run back.
This is the guy with a Shaolin spade.
Yeah, and he digs the ground or whatever. Yeah. And at a certain point, I was just like, what am I doing?
Dodge, spell, dodge. That's how he did it, too. That's you see, you are a Dark Souls player.
And he never touched me.
That's exactly.
I literally beat it without any damage. Second boss, I wasn't quite able to pull that off as easily.
No, but that first one was they're trying to. And I will say, one thing I thought, I haven't said this during a Souls game in a long, Souls-like game in a long time, but when you get that boss's health down about halfway, he starts casting fire stuff, and one of the fire thing, he throws a little ball up in the thing and makes it explode in a particle effect. So when he did that, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. It was really neat. It didn't even hit me, but I'm just like, oh, that's a cool effect. There's some cool visual ideas.
But the game is not good looking.
No, not really.
It's not a very pretty game.
It's not even.
It cuts a lot of corners.
It cuts a lot of corners, but also it's just really muddy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, literally, everything is very muddy because it's very wet ground and blood everywhere and
there's blood everywhere. The blood in this is insane.
Yeah.
It's you hit someone with your sword once, it's 3 buckets of blood come flying out of them. They definitely didn't pull any punches on that.
Sometimes you go into some, there's a lot of massacred villages.
Yeah,
and
it's horrible.
And sometimes you're just man, I just need you want to play a power wash simulator version of these levels. It's I gotta clean this fucking village up, man. It's everywhere.
That's funny. The plot in this is it's there, but it's not an overtly narrative driven game.
It sure starts.
Yeah,
it's just boom.
The game starts. She wakes up. And she doesn't know what's happened. It turns out that she was on an expedition with a friend to find her lost sister.
There's not even an intro cutscene.
Nothing.
There's no
it just starts. She opens her eyes.
Movie, anything. It's just oh, you're here. Okay.
And eventually you talk to someone who kind of fills you in. You were there trying to find your sister, but things went wrong, and now you're cursed with this feathering where it's
people get attacked by these things, and some of them get this disease called the feathering, where you grow feathers and eventually you turn into one of the monsters.
Yeah, and most people who get it go insane very quickly, and everyone's shocked that you haven't gone insane.
Yeah, although you can go insane.
You can.
I mean, that's there's a madness system.
Yeah, so every time you die, when you go back to the bonfires in this, your madness increases.
Yeah, and your madness increases when you kill humanoids.
Right.
And it goes down if you kill monsters.
Right. And so if you die enough and your madness builds enough, this white version of you, this ghost version of you shows up and you have to fight yourself, basically.
Yeah, to get your souls back, basically.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Those fights are not actually super hard, but there's but every once in a while you're that happens and you died next to a really powerful enemy and you're fuck.
Because you have to, that's what happens. You fight your ghost version and the other enemies that are there. So it does increase the difficulty of the skirmish or whatever.
But it also really forces you to learn how to make when that's happened. I've run in and your doppelganger will chase you basically forever.
Everywhere.
The tough enemy will give up after a while.
Yeah.
So basically,
although they chase you for a long time.
They chase you for a while, but you can run through the rest of the area and get away as long as you're willing to kill the cannon fodder efficiently and not get hit doing that.
Matt, that's what I ended up doing with this game. I started playing it like I would usually play Souls-likes, where I just keep beating my head against the wall. The checkpoints in this game are really far apart.
It can be, yeah.
I mean, it's I thought I was playing this really well, but literally they're miles apart. It's I have now fought 8 skirmishes, and I still haven't found a bonfire. And so after I was beating my head against the wall playing it like that for a couple hours, I just stopped and I just started running to the bonfires. And that's how I started making progress through the game. I just ran past every enemy.
It's a true Dark Souls play.
And they will chase you a long ways before they finally give up.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy, actually, how far
this is not Dark Souls in the sense that, Dark Souls enemies tend to give up after...
Very fast. Not in this.
They're tired,
yeah,
man. They've been mostly dead all day.
Yeah.
But, these guys...
Usain Bolt. They just keep running. But that's what I started doing. I just started running to the next bonfire, and I would go there and save. And it does the same thing other bonfires do. You can basically sleep there and regain your health, but then all the enemies respawn. There's a skill tree in there that you can fiddle around with. There's a place where you can store your stuff. Nothing really out of the ordinary as far as the bonfires. But to me, the thing that does set this game apart for me from other Souls-likes is the combat and how you do other things to refill that gauge that you use for your overpowered sword attacks or your melee attacks and for your magic spells. Also, magic spells in this may be a little OP.
They're very, very strong.
Like the first one, you can take out rank and file enemies with like one spell cast. It almost takes their whole health bar.
But you are spending a resource that does require a risk to get.
Yeah.
So I would say that it is about as powerful as probably the magic in Demon Souls, but you have to put yourself on the line to earn it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is overpowered in the sense that like what you have to do to be able to cast it is significant.
Did you ever find a map in this game?
No.
I didn't either. I mean, you don't really need it. It does have the old school Dark Souls level design, where it's pretty much linear, but then it wraps back around.
Yeah, I mean, even the teleporting system just gives you a list of places.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of okay and good enough because they show a picture of the place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know where that is. I know a bit more. And it all, like Dark Souls, it all weaves back on itself. Like you're constantly opening locked doors that lead back to the old areas. And like it's not that. I haven't really felt the need for a map.
Me
and also
either.
Everything is very notably what it is. Like I recognize locations very easily.
Yeah, they're distinctive for sure.
They are good
it
at
does
making
not
them
blend
distinctive.
in like
No.
everything in this game, for sure. I agree with that. But when you really start diving into this game, there are tons of like crazy systems. Like there's this whole needle system where you jab needles into her arm, and like that gives you a whole other set of like buffs that you can use. And then there's these, as you said, there's skill trees that are specific to each weapon, and those are really deep as well. You could really kind of, customize the combat in this to really play it how you want to, which is something that really resonates with me.
Yeah, you can definitely lean hard into whatever weapon you prefer.
Yeah.
And of course you can grind as much as you want to keep
You
leveling
can keep
up.
fighting the same enemies if you want to.
Yeah. If you want to min max, it's there.
Yep. And then this doesn't have like the cool connectivity that From Software's games have, where you can call people in that are like real people. But you do get this thing called a bone whistle, and you can use that to call in an NPC to come and fight with you. So and I only got to use that for one boss fight, but that NPC took off like half of the boss's health.
He was a real help.
Yeah, he was legit. But it's not as cool as having a real human come in there and help you. But it's something at least.
I mean, it's just like Elden Ring did.
Yeah, before they figured out like the real connectivity.
Well, no, Elden Ring intentionally has both.
Oh, it has both. You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah. And
you know which one I use.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mimic tier in Elden Ring is considered the most overpowered thing in it.
Don't fall in water, you die.
Yeah,
you can't fall in water.
It's not a place to go.
That right there, that particular instance, Matt, I had traveled like 3 miles at that point, and the bonfire was like right around the corner, and I fell in the water. And that was the moment, Matt, where I'm like, screw it, I'm just running to the bonfires from now on. And honestly, as soon as I did that, the game became more fun, and I started making regular progress through the game.
Right. Well, also, like if you go back here, and if I went back here now, I'd kill all these guys in one hit.
Right.
So, the progression of a Dark Souls game is very much that.
Yeah, I mean, you learn the nuances. You learn what attacks work on certain enemies.
Yeah, the first time you run into these two guys, you're like, fuck, how am I going to deal with these guys? Now it's just like, bam, 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 get out of my way.
Yeah.
Although the first time I fought these guys, that one guy did a spear charge, and he went right off the edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, that takes care of that.
Okay, I wonder if they can get in water without dying.
I don't know. I've never seen them fall in water.
As you can see, the blood in this is just insane. After a fight, everything is just covered in blood. The way the control scheme works, like you have your quick and your heavy attacks on the right shoulder buttons, and then your feather attacks are on your left shoulder button. Those are your more powered up attacks that use that meter we were talking about. There's no jumping. There's no climbing.
The lack of jumping has tripped me up a couple of times.
The lack of climbing is weird at times too. There's a run button in the game, but it's the same button that you use to interact with stuff. So like when I respawn at a bonfire, I go to run, and he'll go to hit the X to run, and it'll instead of open up the bonfire menu again.
I have kind of found the opposite problem where I feel like her pickup range is too short.
I agree. I've not been able to judge that right at all. I keep like going to grab something and it just stays there. You have to be standing like right on top of it, basically.
Like I feel like half a foot more would be enough, but she has to stand just that much too close to things.
Yeah, you can't pause a game. I learned that the hard way a couple times. You can pause it. It looks like it's paused, and then it's not.
I tested that because I was like, "Oh, is this pause screen really paused?" So I went up to like where you see a guy in the distance who sees you and starts running towards you, like pause. But nope, that didn't work. It's like they keep moving.
I also noticed that if you go to use a health flask and you don't have any, it makes you go through this long and you die.
She has to realize
you
that
just die. Because it makes you stand still and do this animation routine, and you die. So you need to keep track. The good news is though, I increased my flask count within the first like 45 minutes of the game. So they give you like power-ups. And I would just say in general, like the progression in this is really good. Yeah. I feel like they're consistently giving you something to play better that you notice in general. So between the skill trees and the tempering, which is the needle stuff I was talking about, and just them organically giving you new weapons and other stuff like that, I feel like there's a good progression arc in the game. You never feel like you're kind of running in place. But again, I feel like the presentation's pretty low rent. There's hardly any cinematics in the game. The graphics themselves aren't that great. But I did notice one kind of crazy thing. I got in a fight with this dude, and his sword stuck in a stone.
Yeah.
And it stayed there. After he died, the sword stayed stuck in the stone after our fight. So there's like little things like that in the game that kind of caught me off guard at times.
It's like they got stuff like that, but then sometimes you'll kill a guy and you'll see the character realize they're supposed to go into their death fall.
Yeah.
It's really uneven.
It's a little rough around the edges for sure. But look, I'm not a big Souls-like player at all. Over time, I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of competent at playing them now, and I kind of know how to like maneuver around them. But I still had a good time playing this.
Yeah, I think the art direction does a lot to make up for the graphical shortcomings.
Yeah,
like it's a very well visually designed game. It's just not. I don't think what they're doing here is quite up to the task of portraying the concept art they worked with. I guess would be the way to say it.
I mean, it does give me some From Software vibes. Like the voice acting is very mumbly and it's got, you can tell that they've played a lot of From Software games for sure.
And this one reminds me more of, just in terms of sort of structure, pacing, like it reminds me more of 1 and 2, Dark Souls 1 and 2 than what came after.
Level design too.
Level design is very 1 and 2. And I like that. I think that's a welcome.
There's definitely times where I came out of a cave and was like, "Oh, this is where I am."
Like this is much more of a it feels like a throwback to
the classics.
To the classics, as opposed to like, sometimes you get these like Black Myth Wukong is clearly taking the idea of the Souls like and trying to push it forward into a more action oriented sort of evolution of it. This is not trying to evolve. It's just trying to be like, hey, we really like those old things and we're gonna we want to do our own version of it, and they did.
It's also this studio's first ever game, so I can forgive them a little bit for trying to keep things.
This is a really solid first outing.
It is.
Especially considering how crowded the field is on this subgenre and how tired I am of it.
Yeah.
That I actually really did enjoy this is, I think, a pretty good testament.
I ended up playing it for a good bit, and if you've watched a lot of GameFace, I hate these games.
Well, also, very forgiving stamina bar.
Yeah.
And...
really forgiving.
And
like
one
you
thing
can run full bore and let it off, and it refills in like half a second.
And I also really like that running will eventually drain the stamina bar, but it takes the running doesn't touch your stamina until you've been running for a while.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
Actually, it does the thing where if there's no enemies, it doesn't lower your bar at all.
Yeah, it does do the Elden Ring thing.
Yeah, which is really cool. But you can tell these guys have studied the more popular games in the genre, and I feel like it does a pretty good job of using all the best stuff and getting rid of a lot of the bad stuff. So I actually enjoyed playing this game, believe it or not. Matt mentioned earlier it's on Game Pass as well, but it's also on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. The other thing too is if you go to buy this, I think it's only like $50.
Yeah, I think it is cheaper.
Yeah, it's not even like vaguely. Yeah, it's $50. It's not even vaguely full price. Obviously, Matt and I will always recommend that you just get Game Pass for a month and play it that way if you like what you're seeing and what we're talking about here. But yeah, I mean, it does have, like you just saw right there, that enemy had been chasing me for like a mile, and he just, out of nowhere, he just comes flying off the top rope, and I'm like, whoa, where did you come from? You definitely get some surprises here and there in this game, but it keeps you on your toes.
But it's funny to like look around in poker. It's just like Dark Souls. Eventually, you will probably find the place he's waiting to jump on. And you're like,
oh yeah,
I got you now, motherfucker. The one thing that I do miss is you cannot backstab people unless you've run their stamina down to nothing.
Yep.
So like even if you can't really sneak up on people, you can't duck.
I didn't find a way where I could jump from like a height down onto people and attack either.
You can. It's just obviously there's no jump button. So basically you have to run off the ledge above them while locked on, and then if you hit the attack button, she will sort of switch into a dive, like
really?
like a downward thrust. But she misses a lot because you can't get any horizontal range from the jump because you can't jump.
You just fall straight down.
So you better you really got to learn what count is going to be within your range at the bottom of your fall. Because you can take fall damage, but you don't take fall damage if you land on an attack on somebody.
Yeah, and there are even parts in the level design where they ask you to fall off of something and land on like a plank or something that has like an item on it.
Yeah.
So that's a part of the gameplay, the falling off of things and hoping you land on something. Like that's a part of the game that's intentional, that's built into it and designed that way. But yeah, generally I had a pretty good time playing this. I'm shocked, honestly. But look, over time, I'm able to play these games better because, I mean, I call it cheesing, but most people who play these games say that's just the way you play.
No, that's how you do it.
Yeah. And I've learned kind of the nuances.
Obviously, there's going to be the weirdos who think there's one, you can only play the game naked with the default weapon and no upgrades or whatever. But no, the way you play these games is however you play these games.
Yeah, however you can do it. I don't care how people play games as long as they get enjoyment out of it, As long as they feel like they paid for something and they got entertainment out of what they paid for, that's really all I care about.
Because that's also how you learn. Like, I cheesed the shit out of stuff in Dark Souls 2 the first time I played it. And when I replayed it later, I was like, wait, I know how these guys move. This guy moves. I don't need to cheese him that way, so I'm going to try to fight him toe-to-toe, and I did.
Yeah.
And that's how you get better.
Yep.
So, like, you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
The people criticize that apparently don't remember what it was like to start out.
Yeah. It's a club now, Matt.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a private club or whatever.
Well, it ain't no club I want to be part of.
But I bet you a lot of people, when we started discussing this game, were like, oh, here we go. Here's Shane. He's going to rail on Wuchang, Fallen Feathers. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And I probably wouldn't recommend it to people like me for $50, but I would absolutely recommend somebody gets Game Pass for a month to give it a play. Because I do feel like it does enough to appeal to people who aren't gigantic fans of this genre. And that's me. And I actually enjoyed playing it. I know that's hard to believe, but I did. Even in the midst of playing a bunch of other games that I really enjoyed this week, I managed to keep carving out time for this. I kept surprising myself. I would sit down and I had like 4 games that I played this week. And every time I sit down on my TV when I had free time, I had to decide which game I wanted to play. And it was interesting, the games that I actually decided to dedicate my time to. This was one of them that surprised me. So that is called Wuchang Fallen Feathers. It's available for PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and it's available on Game Pass. As always, Matt and I recommend that's the way you consume it. And we'll just check in with chat very quickly here and see if any of you guys have been playing it and what your thoughts are on it. Emperor Dread says, that's exactly why the Souls games need difficulty options. Was nonsense. Play how you like. I mean, I still don't care if people have difficulty settings. What are you talking about? It's okay if other people play it. Curtis O'Neill, thank you for the $14 Canadian donation over on YouTube, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you. No, Emperor Dread, it's not okay. There should be difficulty settings in these games. People should be able to play them however they want. I don't know why people still care if there's a difficulty setting in these games.
Just don't use it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, don't use it. Noxatornitis, and I know I keep butchering your name, says that Souls are all about fighting dirty. Drelog says Quentin Tarantino was overseeing development. Yeah. Nixatois says those bandits were full of red paint, I tell you. Cinetike, man, the volume of blood. That's what I'm saying. You cut somebody once, and it's like 3 buckets fly out of like their paper cut or whatever. They definitely put it on for sure. Tiny Blip in History says the rest remain to see. Phantom Blade Zero, Blades of Antara, and Lost Souls aside. I mean, there's just a nonstop barrage of Souls-likes. It feels like 1 out of every 3 or 4 games that's announced is a Souls-like. Or you have to watch it very closely to figure out whether it's a hack and slash or it is. Because now even like the action adventure hack and slashes have lots of dodging and parrying now.
Although I think some of that comes from like just the natural level. I mean, dodging goes back to Witch Time and Bayonetta, and parrying goes back to Devil May Cry 3 and those character action things. So I don't know. Like, we'll see. Like usually those games mostly just take the bonfire idea. Like as soon as you do that, you respawn all the enemies thing. But yeah, I don't know. It does seem to be pretty. If you're gonna start trying to break into the West from like the Chinese or Korean game development world, you're gonna start with a Souls-like or a character action game. Yeah. And for the most part, it seems to work. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, certainly it worked for Black Myth, Wukong, and Stellar Blade. So.
Yeah. Yep. Someone asked us a question about G4. Blitches says, "What was it like doing the first G4 awards at G4?"
I don't know. We weren't there for that.
Yeah, we weren't there. I had a big part in, was it the second or third year, where we did Race to G4, those pre-show.
That was, well, they did G4. I want to say they did G4. Was it the first one the year we moved there?
I think so.
With Cliffy?
Yeah.
Doing the hosting?
That's right. He hosted the first one. Yeah.
Seriously, you guys. Seriously.
I forgot that.
Fun fact. If you
somebody cut that all together.
Kevin Pereira did. Kevin Pereira cut that together and put it up, and Cliff was less than thrilled. But partly, I mean, not because everyone's like, oh, Cliff was upset because everyone,
made fun of him.
No, not because he was an egotistical jerk, because he put himself out there on television to do that, and he's that's a very
he's a game developer.
Right, it's a very difficult thing to do, and anytime you've ever done anything on camera, you worry about what you looked like, what you sounded like, and like somebody cut together kind of your worst nightmare of repeating yourself and doing your same old verbal tick thing, and it's like, I'm just gonna make you feel bad. Yeah. So I mean, it is very funny, but like I understand why he wasn't happy. But anyway, we did the Race to G4 stuff. That was
2005.
That was in 2005. Yeah. Where you did Race to G4 and I did Crashing G4.
Yeah.
Which was the post show.
Right.
Which they completely.
Where you had the hand puppet do a crazy zip line.
We did a parachute down. We did.
Ratty.
So you did. So the thing was, they forgot they had to do Crash and G4, the post show,
right? Because that was the bit.
It
was all tied together.
Because Race to G4 was the pre-show, which you did, and then they did G4, and it was supposed to be Crash G4, and like 3 weeks or something before we were going to do it, our boss came to me and was like, "Okay, we forgot that we were supposed to do this. Can you do it?" Yeah. And I said, "What is it?" Like, it's just going to be Jeff Keighley, Tina, and Laura Foy doing interviews with the developers at the post show where they're going to have stuff that's playable and stuff, and then you can do the characters having fun in the meantime. I'm like, okay. He's like, "There's no budget, there's no anything, just whatever you need to do, we'll figure it out." I'm like, and I said, "There's 2 conditions." He's like, "What?" He's like, "I get to do whatever I want, and it's an hour, and not a half hour." Yeah. And he's like, "You want it to be longer?" I'm like, And he's like, "Okay." Yeah. And so we did it. And we had the interview stuff. I mean, Jeff basically took care of that himself. Like, I didn't need to do anything. I said,
hand him a mic.
I literally just said, "Book all the interviews you want, do whatever you think's the right thing, and go." And so he booked everything for himself and Tina and Laura, and that was it. And we did Johnny Extreme and Ratty and
there was like a crossover between like Race to G4 and
all
G4
the exploit characters.
There was like a narrative
and
that went through.
We did a flashback to the first time like Johnny and Ratty met, and Johnny and Ratty tell Heather. It was Heather.
So ridiculous.
Told this story about them in like gentlemen's like Victorian suits meeting in a field. It's like let's be pals kind of thing. And then it was Guy Branum who turned around and looked at the camera after that was over, and just turns around, looks at the camera, goes, "But that's not what really happened." And originally, I asked William Shatner to do it, and he wouldn't do it because he didn't understand what the fuck we were doing. And he was correct. He was correct not to do that.
Funny.
I figured it was worth a shot. I figured he'd say no. He did say no.
He was correct.
Ask. He was correct to say no because the flashback was the darkest, most bloody thing ever. It was literally.
It really was.
Ratty had killed a hooker in his bathtub and called Johnny over to dispose of the body. And we showed the whole fucking thing. It is one of the most horrible things we ever put on television. And
for our award show.
For our award show closing out with the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah. We
also had the Bravery there.
Bravery was opening, and then the Black Eyed Peas was the main show. And I remember after we were all done, we were all just like burnt completely out. And we were just drinking at a high top table with Sean Baby. And I'm just like, I don't know where I am anymore.
What happened to Sean Baby?
He's still doing stuff.
Is he?
He's still out there. Yeah.
I haven't seen him for a long time. Anyway, thanks for setting us off on that G4 tangent.
Good
Did you get what you were hoping for?
I'll tell you about G4, son. I got tales.
Actually, Curtis, I want to give your donation a like here to thank you for that. Thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. Every dollar makes a difference for us.
I do remember the first, because the G4, the 2004, Adam and Morgan did do some stuff for that, but that was when we were still up in San Francisco.
I remember that.
And we came down,
brought him in.
We came down for E3, and they did some G4 pre-shoot stuff, and I remember our line producer, Carrie, had to basically like get them ready and then sort of send them over to the G4 people, and she started to cry because she's like, it's like I had to send my kids over like out to high school, and just, Adam, absolutely Adam.
That's hilarious. All right, it's time to move on. Next up, we're going to talk about Killing Floor 3. Did you get a chance to play this at all?
I did not.
Didn't?
Because you told me to play Wuchang, so I did that yesterday.
Well,
I didn't have time to get.
The funny thing, Matt, is that you could have spent about 2 hours playing this and almost finished the game.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
I didn't realize what this was. For some reason, I have been under the impression that the Killing Floor games are like Diablo-like.
No, huh?
I did not know they were shooters.
Yeah, they're cooperative first-person shooters. But for me, the thing that sets Killing Floor apart from all the others is the number of players that you play with. So you have 5 other people in each match with you for a total of 6 players. The funny part is there's only 6 classes in the game. So if you have a full roster of people, they have to use every class, or otherwise
you can't double up.
You can, but I'm saying like there's only just enough classes to fill out a team, which I found was a little bit interesting. There's no story to this game. There's no cinematics. There's no anything. There's not even a linear campaign. You can play it single player, or you can play it with 5 other players if you want to, and the experience is basically the same no matter what you do. There's 8 different locations that you play through, and you can either choose to play them in whatever order you want to by yourself, or you can just use matchmaking and play them with everybody else. As I said, there's 8 different missions that you can complete in the game. Each one takes around 30 minutes. It could take a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, depending on if you're playing with good players or not, but each one 30 to 40 minutes max. You can do the math on that. It's about 4.5 hours, 5 hours of content. And I can tell you that it is about 4. I played through this whole game, completed every mission in like 4 or 5 hours. And then after it was done, I was like, now what? Like, what do you do after that? I mean, the game is $40. So I guess you're not expecting that much for your $40 as far as time commitment is concerned. But yeah, it is not, there's not a lot of content here. And the other thing that's weird about it, Matt, is that the game, even though it costs $40, it's still set up like a game as a service. There's like a huge marketplace where you pay real money for stuff. To be fair, the stuff that you buy is all cosmetic. It doesn't affect how you play in the game. You have to earn the stuff inside the game that actually makes you better and increases your weapon and stuff like that. It's all cosmetic stuff, but they start shoving that in your face pretty much like right away. And that to me was a little weird. It's like, wait a minute. Someone just paid $40 for this game, like, and you're hitting me up with, like, trying to get money out of me for microtransactions, like, already in the first couple of hours I was playing it. Like, it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Like I said, no matter whether you're playing by yourself or with other people, there's just one mode. It's called the survival mode, and it's just a typical wave-based horde mode with cooperative play, where you take on a wave of enemies with your 5 other teammates, you finish off the wave, then you go to a station, and you spend the points that you just earned to buy new, better stuff. One thing that I discovered playing this, though, is there's an armory in the game where you can go and build your own weapon. And then when you finish each mission, you earn a bunch of stuff to craft with. Like, you get this long list of materials that you earned. And then you go back into the armory when you go back, after you finish a mission, you go back to this little hub area where you can hang out and, like, try out weapons and all that kind of stuff. There's an armory there where you can boost your weapon. After I had played like 2 missions, the weapon that I built in the armory was more powerful than the weapons that they were asking me to spend like 5,000 points on. They aren't as fun, but they do more damage. Like, I had a shotgun that could do more damage than like the rocket launcher that I was buying for like 5,000 credits or whatever. So after a few matches, I just ended up using the weapon that I created pretty much the entire time to play through the game. And so it kind of eliminates the need for like the stations. Like, obviously you can still get armor, and like in this game you inject yourself to heal. You can replace those in between rounds or whatever. But as far as the weapons are concerned, I didn't feel like I really had the need to upgrade my weapons mid-game, other than just some of the weapons are cool and you want to use them to see how they work. But otherwise, not really. Your loadout, you have 2 primary weapons, you have a secondary, you have your armor, you have just sidearm, and then grenades, and then a gadget. Gadget's different for each of the characters, but obviously, as I said, there's only 6 of them. To fire off your special, you just tap both R1 and L1 at the same time. They're not crazy. Like, the character that I use the most, like, he just turned into, like, this gigantic cannon that could take out enemies with one shot or whatever. But the finishers aren't, like, over-the-top insanity like you'd expect in a lot of hero shooters. They're pretty subdued in this, but still effective nevertheless. As far as the classes are concerned, there's a Commando, which is, like, small arms. There's Firebug, which uses a flamethrower. Sharpshooter is your sniper. There's a Ninja that uses a sword and melee. And then there's the Engineer that uses a shotgun and a turret. And then finally there's a Medic. So most of the classes are classes that you've probably used in a lot of other shooters that you've played before. And it's enough. Like, that's the thing. It's like, do you really need more than that? Like, you really don't. Like, if you have more than that, you just start blending and making hybrids, basically, of the 6 kind of classes. So I know when you hear there's only 6 playable characters and classes in this, it sounds really bad.
Apparently you only need 1 because everybody's just playing as the one thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing about it, is that, like, once you get...
Oh, I see. There's 2 engineers.
Yeah. Once you get into the match, like, anybody can buy the weapons. So it doesn't matter that much. Like, who you select mostly matters for your opening loadout and your special attack. Otherwise, it doesn't really make a difference, like, who you're selecting.
So does this kind of come from the zombie mode of Call of Duty, or?
I mean, it is. Let's be honest. It's basically Call of Duty Zombies with 5 other players instead of, like, 2 or 3. It doesn't have, like, all the smaller minutia of zombies for Call of Duty with, like, the gumball machines and all that kind of stuff. It is really straightforward. Like, it's literally wipe out a wave of enemies, go to the machine, upgrade your stuff, refill your ammo, wipe out the next wave of enemies. You do that for 5 waves, and then the 6th wave is a boss. There are only 3 bosses in the game. So there's 8 missions, but they reuse the bosses across the 8 missions. So you know what you're going to get when you go into the mission as far as the boss is concerned, but they reuse pretty much all of them at least twice throughout the course of the game. And then the way the game scales is that if you have a lot of people, at the end, they will add extra bosses, basically. So if you fight a boss with, like, you and 2 other people, there'll be, like, 1 of them. If you fight it with 4 people, there'll be 2 of them. If you fight it with the full 6, there'll be 3 of them. But the balancing is still terrible. If you play with a bunch of humans in this, the bosses are they're a joke almost. You may die because they're strong enough that they can one-hit you, basically, but people can revive you. And if you're playing with 5 other people, there's always going to be somebody free who can revive you. And so the bosses in this, which are supposed to be the big climax of the game, really are kind of like a disappointment ultimately. But the thing I keep coming back to, and look, it is a mindless game. If you've played any other cooperative shooter, there's really nothing that makes this one stand out. It's hyper gory. And if you get enough headshots in a row, the game goes into this bullet time mode where if you shoot anything, it just explodes into blood and guts. That's pretty powerful and pretty effective. But otherwise, it's really hard to find anything that sets this apart. Remember, I just played FBC Firebreak not that long ago, and I didn't really give that game a great review either. I kind of panned it, but that game's better than this one because that game actually has some stuff that it does that is not like every other cooperative shooter. Now, look, I know a lot of people are going to say, Shane, this is Killing Floor 3. This is actually the franchise that did a lot of the innovating and kind of created this template, or at least helped create it. I understand that, and I totally get it, but it's 2025, and there are other games on the market now that this game is going to be compared to, and I hear you, Killing Floor 2, for its time, was very innovative, although fans argue you should keep playing Killing Floor 2 instead of this game. I'll just throw that out there. And I get it, but in 2025, comparing this to the other cooperative shooters out there, it is not innovative at all. It really just kind of stands on its blood and gore for the most part, and it, to be fair, that is certainly impactful. That is one thing I think everybody will take away from playing this game is just how gory and violent it is. There's 30 weapons, 13 different enemy varieties. As I said, there's just 3 bosses. There's a skill tree in that little hub area where you go to before you launch your match. There's a terminal there where you can go and adjust your skills. But you don't have to do any of that to make headway through this game. I finished the entire game with only 3 perks enabled by the time I finished it. I had only unlocked 3, and I finished it. So you definitely don't need them. There are 3 difficulty settings, so if you play it on the harder settings, that stuff is probably a little bit more important. But who does that, Matt? Who goes back and plays these games on a harder difficulty setting? For me, it's like, once I've seen all the enemies and killed all the bosses and consumed all the content, my interest in going back and playing these games over and over again is very minimal. However, I will say, this is kind of a good game if you have like a crew of buddies that you've kind of lost touch with, and you want to find a game that's kind of mindless that you can just play with them and not think about it, and more importantly, they don't have to think about it. This is a good game for that. It's also $40, like I said. It's not a big commitment or whatever. That's what it's good for. Hanging out with your bros, people you've lost touch with, reconnecting. You want to do something while you're catching up and talking. This is a good game for that. But otherwise, it's just very, very derivative and very low on content. And so I do struggle otherwise to kind of recommend this at $40. As I said, there's also only the 8 different missions, the 8 different maps that you can play through. Now, one thing that does show that these developers have been working in this genre for a long time is that, like, after the wave is over and you've all gone to the machine and either refilled your ammo or bought new weapons, you have the option to fast forward to the next wave. You just have to, like, tap left on the D-pad, and if everybody does it, the next wave starts immediately. So you do discover kind of little nuances in the game where you're like, okay, these people have obviously been doing this for a while, and they've been thinking about it for a while, because there's some creature comforts, I guess is the best way I would put it, in this that you maybe don't see in every cooperative shooter, but otherwise, it is very much similar to a lot of other games you've played this way. If you're a Left 4 Dead fan, there's no safe house per se, but it might as well be. When you're standing at that station after the wave is over, you're not being attacked, so it might as well be a safe house. So this game will resonate with the same people who like games like Left 4 Dead. It is, stop and start, refill your stuff, stop, refill your stuff, start. That's pretty much the cadence of the game in general. There's other little things you can do, like you can join mid-game. You just have to wait till the wave is over. If you die and people don't revive you in time, you're not dead for good. When the next wave starts, you respawn and you can play. Even if you die on the final boss on wave 6 and you die and then they kill the boss, you still get credit for it, which is nice. Because I died at the end of one of them and I was like, no, I just fought, because it takes 40 minutes. And I was like, I fought through the whole 40-minute thing and like I'm not going to get any of the stuff for it. And I did. But there was another time where I fought through the whole 6 waves and it just crashed and I got nothing. So I just wasted that one was 50 minutes that I just wasted. I got nothing. We beat the final boss, it died and curled up and crashed. And I was like, I almost quit right there, Matt. I was like, that's it. I'm like, that's the deal breaker. But I did stick with it, and eventually I ended up finishing all the content and finishing the game as well. So yeah, I mean, my guess is Killing Floor 2 lasted for like 6-7 years. That's probably the plan with this too. Slowly release new DLC, new maps, stuff like that to keep people engaged. If you're looking at just the $40 price and you plan on playing this for a couple days, it's a good weekender game. If you're looking for a game to play for a couple days and get some entertainment out of it, and like I said earlier, reconnect with some friends, it's probably a good choice. But that's about it. There's not much else to say about the game. What you're seeing is what you get. There's 13 enemy types, but they get old real fast. The other thing I would say, too, is that there's not a lot of synergy in this between teammates. It's like a lot of these games, it's like you can do combos with your teammate. Your teammate does this, and you do this, and it does triple the damage. The only thing I discovered playing this is that there's one character that can freeze enemies, and then you can run up and melee them or shoot them, and they explode. But otherwise, there's really not any of that in this game. So there's not a lot of really cool teamwork involved. There's also bugs, like that heal thing that's popping up there. That stayed up for an hour. It wouldn't go away. You can see I have full health and full armor, and it's still telling me to heal. Those two things on the left, that training, survival basics, and mission, those stayed there for 10 missions. They wouldn't go away. So it's a little rough around the edges. It has some bugs. Generally, it played pretty well. The biggest bug for me and the biggest issue for me was when I finished an entire 6-wave round and I lost everything. That was kind of the big deal for me. Traversal also feels awkward. There's a sliding in this. It's like you slide and then you stop. You can't, in Call of Duty, you can slide and then jump out of the slide and keep your momentum going, almost like a dolphin. In this, it doesn't. You slide, you just stop, and it's awkward. However, I will say, you can dodge in any direction, and in these games where, you can see it right now, where you kind of get trapped and bogged down by a bunch of enemies, being able to dash in any direction gets you out of those jams. So it is functional, and I think pretty important for a genre like this, so I'm glad they put it in there. It just doesn't feel very good, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say about it. Again, it costs $40. There's just nothing remarkable about it, I guess is the best way I could put it. There's nothing that would kept me coming back. I sat down, I basically finished it in one sitting. I played it for 2 hours, had lunch, and then finished it in 2 hours after that, and it played through all the content. And me personally, I don't see a lot of reason for me to come back. So, there you go. That's Killing Floor 3, again, available for... And this actually should have been on Game Pass. This would be a great Game Pass game if it wanted to build its audience and get them hooked, and then harvest the microtransactions for the years and stuff after that, but it's not. It is not on Game Pass. Maybe it'll come there eventually, but it's not there now. It's available for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series, and it's available for $40. So there you go. That is Killing Floor 3. Next up, or actually, let me check in with chat. That was pretty quick. I didn't even get through all the B-roll. So let me just make sure anyone doesn't have any questions or anything. Frosty Boy says 11 of my friends bought it already. Interesting. Have you played it, or just your friends have been playing it? Nightwing 3060 says Killing Floor is just a guilty pleasure to play, but that's about it. It's not even so violent that it's like you feel guilty, because you're killing zombies and like aliens.
I think it means more that it's sort of mediocre.
Because it's mediocre, but you still enjoy playing it. Yeah, I could see that. Next is 6 Baddie. Not sure he realizes that you're supposed to reach max level in every class. That takes a long time. It's supposed to. What does that mean? I say this all the time on GameFace.
Well, I mean, these are games that you're supposed to play over and over and over and over again to grind the Skinner box. Basically. Right. You know, the idea is not like, oh, I finished it because I played all the levels. It's like, oh, I gotta get the next. I mean, you know, but if it doesn't give you anything to like want that next. Well, I want the next better gun or ability or whatever, so I can play the same thing again.
My point would be, that's why it's a guilty pleasure, because you shouldn't be doing that with this game. This game does not deserve that. It just simply does not. Like, believe me, once you play through all 8 missions, you'll get it. There's no twists that happen. Like, every once in a while, they do have, like, these events where, like, it says, like, mutated, that pops up on the screen, and it will, like, alter one of the waves. I think maybe it increases the number of enemies. It makes, like, one of the waves harder or whatever. But that's about it. Like, as far as, like, emergent stuff that just happens while you're playing, there's not a lot of it. So I get it. You can play any game over and over if you want to. I'm telling you, I do not recommend it. I don't think this game is worthy of that. And Frosty Boy says, I can't even put my finger on why I love Killing Floor so much. There you go. That's why it's a guilty pleasure, I guess. Friend Slop sounds very sinister, the Big Smoke 82. I feel like the appeal of the game is just lost on him. I don't understand why you would say that. I've played every video game ever made, bro. Like, nothing is lost on me. I'm just telling you, it's not worth playing it over and over again. It's just not. Friend slop. Is that like the new AI slop, I guess?
No, that's a term people are starting to use for these games. You can just basically hang out with your friends while you play them, like, mindlessly. Mm-hmm. I don't really like it just because slop... slop has a negative
something
connotation,
else.
That I don't think necessarily. You know, I've seen, not necessarily this one, but I've seen other games that are not bad games by any means called friend slop, and I was like, no, you need another. Other people have tried to change that to friend core, which I guess sort of has less of a judgy feeling to it. Mm-hmm. Like it's certainly a type of game that exists now. I just think.
Don't we call those podcast games? Kind of the same thing.
But I mean, it's more like things you hang out with your friends and play.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to call them fighting games.
Right. Yeah, or Left 4 Dead. It's always amusing to me to hear non-Killing Floor fans talk about the game. Yeah, because we're just normal. We look at those games like every other game instead of giving it a special pass like fans do. Like I said, I literally just played FBC Firebreak. We just reviewed that on the show like 3 weeks ago. I play these games all the time. KF2 sits at 88% despite various dramas throughout the years. Yeah, it definitely has a huge fan base. There's no doubt about it. I don't know why, but it does. Fruit Eater, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Appreciate you. He says Killing Floor 2 is awful. It's huge. Like, as someone just pointed out, like, it's huge. There's still a ton of people playing it. Vincent says, better disappointing third entry in a co-op shooter series, Killing Floor 3 or Payday 3. Actually, I drew a lot of parallels while I was playing this with Payday 3. It's very similar to Payday 3 at launch in that it just didn't have enough content. It's like, okay, this is kind of fun and cool, and I enjoyed it for the few hours that I played it, but now what? And this game is very much the same. Like, again, you can play through it in an afternoon and you've gone through all the content. You may become obsessed with it and have an OCD about it, like, what was his name? And just keep playing it over and over. Most people will not do that. Most people will be like, I get it, and they'll move on.
Yeah,
I paid $40.
people in here just like, I've got 450 hours in this one. I have 1,000 hours in Killing Floor 1. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're into it, you're into it. It's not my thing.
Me either. Yeah.
I just want to
move on.
If I play something that repeats itself like that, and if I start to feel nauseous.
Mike's Q says on YouTube, I have now switched to mobile. Don't discuss anything super controversial that I might feel tempted to respond to. You learned your lesson. All right, so there you go. That's Killing Floor 3. Next, we're going to talk about a game that only Matt played and I did not play, and that is Shadow Labyrinth. It is we thought it was a Metroidvania based solely on Pac-Man, but as it turns out, Matt, that is actually not the case, is it?
No, this is really the Namco Classic Arcade Cinematic Universe game.
Which is crazy to think about.
References to a bunch of stuff, and like something like Xevious and Bosconian are actually important to the actual main story.
Xevious is one of my favorite arcade games of all time.
So there's a lot of Namco stuff in this that is beyond just the Pac-Man sort of reimagining.
It's kind of surprising they didn't really market it as that, you know?
Yeah, I thought so too, but at the same time, like, how many people know what the fuck Xevious is anymore? You know, it's like, so Pac-Man is definitely the thing to focus on.
Yeah, it's the one everybody gets.
But no, there's a lot of there's references to Dig Dug and Galaga, and like there's a lot of stuff in this. I was pleasantly surprised because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like the parallels are not 1-to-1. Like the fact that you're a little, so basically this is the very beginning. This stuff happens. Things go crazy. This is your super mode, basically the Gaia mode. And you wake up, if you've seen the secret level show, you are I can't remember the name of the character that the character that the little Pac-Man robot is manipulating. Sword Bearer or something like that.
I think that
Sword Bearer
sounds
7.
right.
So the little short, the CG short, is a prequel to this. So that's Sword Bearer 7, and this you play 8.
Okay.
So you're the next one that he has revived. He says to call him Puck, which is of course Pac-Man's original name in Japan, but was changed here because it was going to be too easy to change the P to an F.
That is exactly
on the
why.
Side of the arcade game.
That is why that happened, which is crazy.
And you basically are kind of a speechless ghost in a cloak, sort of like you don't say anything, you don't really have a face, and he's a little floating robo Pac-Man, and he just sort of says, "Do what I say, peasant." And you find this magic sword, and the sword does not reject you, which is the first time that's happened for a while, apparently. And he's like, "Oh, maybe you are the one." And you're basically following his orders. I think one of the things that was surprising, there's a lot more anime people in this than you think. There's one. This
is just a strange game.
It is very strange.
It really is.
A lot more thick anime booty than I expected.
And that's THICC.
Yes. Yes. And you're basically sort of wandering through this thing, and he's sort of giving you orders, and you're trying to find your way up to this top of this tower, and eventually you do, and that does not go the way he thinks it's going to go, and that sort of sets the tone for. I mean, that's like 3 hours, but
oh really?
I did wander around Lost a couple times, but it basically sets the tone for sort of what's happening, and you're sort of caught in the middle of an interplanetary war, and you don't know who you are or what you are, and you don't know what he is or what anyway. But everyone seems to know who he is, but he didn't.
Wait, everyone knows who Pac-Man is?
Yeah, like everyone knows what's going on or recognizes who he is, and you're sort of picking up little memory fragments of who he was that he doesn't see. Like it makes a note.
Are people afraid of Pac-Man?
Most of them think he's a dick.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd say they're afraid of him. Some of them are like, your sister would have done this much faster. And it's just like, well, okay.
Wait a minute. Are they talking about Miss Pac-Man?
I don't know. They haven't gotten into that yet.
Interesting. I thought Miss Pac-Man was his girlfriend, not his sister.
Everything's different here.
Yeah, apparently.
The ghost thing is like, it's just, that's the name of the opposing force is the G-host.
No, not ghost.
Sometimes
the
you fight
G-host.
Again, every time you fight a big mini boss or whatever, after you beat him, Pac-Man Puck possesses you, and a giant shadow Pac-Man the size of the screen pops out and eats the thing that you just defeated, and that gives you an ability power-up. Also, sometimes you'll run into sections where there's energized walls, like lines on the walls, and when you jump on it, you become Pac-Man. And you can kind of guide yourself along the walls when you pick up these little energy
power pellets.
Yeah, the little energy things which are the currency of the game. Those little things in the upper right corner. When you pick those up, they make a little ding 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 like kind of money sounds. When you eat them as Pac-Man on the walls, they make the waka waka Pac-Man sound. And then there are these like ancient tablets that you can't activate until much later in the game. But you find them and you'll notice that it's like they glow and he's like
bless you. Bless you.
He'll say, like, we don't have the ability to do this right now. We might as well leave it alone. Yeah. But you'll notice on the tablets, it's the maze from Pac-Man. And eventually when you get the ability to interact with them, you play a level of Pac-Man. It basically plays like Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Oh, like a legit
it's a
level
legit
of Pac-Man level. Not like the Pac-Man inside the game here that we'll see here in a minute.
No, there's the tablet, the little ancient tablet things you actually play around with Pac-Man.
Okay, wow.
But there's a ton of stuff. I mean, you can see here, it is a 2D Metroidvania style game, but the characters are super sharp. Like everything looks amazing.
Yeah.
The characters are super sharp. Just on PC, it's really crisp and clear. Everything runs really well. They constantly put stuff like you can see like the branches there. There's something in the foreground all the time.
Yeah, you can see it. They even do like a blur on it.
Yeah, that gives it it makes it feel really
depth.
It gives a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 8, and it is.
Do you get other weapons, or is it just the one sword that you get?
It's pretty much just that, but the sword can do a lot of things. Like
it levels up, right? You get new abilities for it.
You get new like you get a wave attack and like a couple of other things. One interesting thing about this is usually in Metroidvanias the abilities you gain tend to be traversal related. In this, some of the abilities are combat related. And a lot of those are like, well, that would have been nice to have for the last 3 fucking hours. Like the parry. There's a parry mechanic you pick up, and like all of a sudden you can parry anything that uses a red light to warn it's going to attack, and everything you fought up to that point suddenly becomes trivial.
Oh.
And then new enemies have a blue light, and you cannot parry them.
You have to fight them normally.
So all of a sudden, but again, that lets them mix those new enemies in with the old enemies, and the old enemies are now cannon fodder, even the ones that took like a big, you had to work to beat them. Yeah. Now you can just parry them and kill them in 2 hits.
Now they're just an annoyance while you fight the other new enemies.
So it's an interesting kind of way. It's an odd way of gaining
like it. Yeah.
And then the other thing to note is there is a kind of a crafting system to buy certain really powerful upgrades. You have to spend like kind of crafting items you get from defeating enemies. And the way that works is eventually you get the Gaia power up, which is you can transform into that giant robot that was at the beginning of this B-roll. And you have a little meter that fills as you defeat enemies, and when it's full, you click both sticks, and you turn into basically a giant invincible robot that can do big damaging combos.
Can you use that in the boss fights?
Oh yeah. You're supposed to. And of course, the energy level like slowly goes down, and as you get hit, it will
remove the upper third.
It's not there yet.
Oh, okay.
In this, that's just your energy meter for dodging, and that's your stamina basically. It's called the ESP meter because
the red meter is stamina and the blue is your health segments.
Your health.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the little orb there is your health potions. Which there's a Dark Souls element where you go to the checkpoints, it refills your health and refills your potions. It does not respawn the enemies, though.
Interesting.
There's also 2 different kinds of checkpoints. There's a big checkpoint with a little glowing orange orb that lets you upgrade the character and refills your health potions. And then there's little crystal things that just refill your health. They don't give you the potions back. You cannot upgrade the character, but you can teleport to the last checkpoint that lets you do that. But that's going to set you way back. So a lot of times, it
did seem like the checkpoints in this are pretty far apart.
Yeah, the checkpoints that let you refill your health are pretty far. They refill your health potions are pretty far apart. So that's one. That's one. Amiku Soul. That's the one that lets you get your health potions back. So a lot of times you'll find situations where you go through a whole area and you get a little crystal one that just refills your health normally, and then there's a boss right after that. So you have to decide: do I want to teleport back to get my health potions
then you have to
back,
come all
and fight
the
my way
back.
all the way back down? And but again, it's easier the second time because you know where you're going.
Right.
So it's an interesting choice.
Or you can just avoid enemies like you do in the Souls.
You do that too. But killing every enemy is a way to get more money.
Prepare for the fight.
And so once you get the Gaia thing, something you can do is you click the right stick, and a ghost version of the Gaia thing will pop out and grab ahead in whatever angle you're pointing the stick. And if it grabs a dead enemy, it will eat him, and you'll get crafting materials from it. So the way you keep the crafting system going is you have to eat your dead enemies, which takes stamina and makes you defenseless for a second.
Oh.
So you got to choose your moment for that.
Carefully.
Yeah. And the enemies de-res after like a couple of seconds, so you only have you got to move.
You got a window there before.
So that's an interesting way to make the crafting stuff a little more interactive. The other way, basically, you're fighting with the same 3-hit sword combo most of the time, and then
that kind of sucks.
And then you have the dodge, which is direction and the right bumper.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you completely invincible while you're doing it, but you got to make sure you clear the enemy when you do it.
That makes sense.
And that takes up your red stamina meter. If that goes down to nothing, then you become exhausted and have to wait for it to slowly fill back up before you can dodge again.
Here comes that moment you were talking about where he gets possessed and eats the enemy.
And the dodging, like a lot of things take stamina meter. Like the parrying takes it. Doing the eat the dead enemy takes it.
What's up with the arm?
That is a floating arm he picks up early on that lets him interact with things.
Oh, there goes Pac-Man.
You may or may not actually have an arm under there.
Okay. And what does the arm do?
That's what he uses to do everything. That's what holds the sword. It's what grabs
summons Pac-Man.
It's what grabs onto things and lets you climb up stuff. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it's what parries weapons. So this is where you're being Pac-Man
for the first time, right?
Yeah, along those energy tracks. And
so he can just adhere to any electrified wall.
Anything that looks exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can jump. So you can't actually choose to turn back into the character. So you can hit the attack button to do a little spin attack, but that's about it. And so basically, fighting enemies in this form is a little bit more difficult, and you can only jump. You can see how you can do these weird jumps. There are platforming sections with this where you have to jump back and forth like that. Mm-hmm. It gets way more intricate.
It's interesting
as you go on.
I mean, this is a mechanic I've never really seen in a game before.
It's definitely taking the morph ball to the next level.
Watching the footage of this, there's a lot of this that looks like Metroid. Because it's almost like when you turn into Pac-Man, you're just turning into Samus's ball form.
This greatly reminds me of Metroid more than Castlevania.
Metroid Dread.
Well, no, it's this one's good.
I'm saying it's more like Metroid than Metroid Dread.
Yeah, that's true. It is pretty tough.
Yeah, it looks hard.
It's harder than you think.
I think it looks hard. Seriously.
And my main criticism, I think, is it is a little loose.
Yeah.
Controls wise, like the gold standard, I would say is Hollow Knight, and the precision of Hollow Knight is just kind of where I would say you measure all this stuff by.
Yeah.
This doesn't quite get there.
Which is important for challenging games.
Specifically, the jumping and landing is a little. Like it's a little harder to sort of make sure you land where you want to land, especially in like boss fights where you have to specifically precision jump over things.
Yeah,
it's just not quite as dependable as I want it to be.
That can be a deal breaker for games like this.
Like I think, and again, you don't lose anything when you die. You just go back to the thing. And as a matter of fact, if you start a boss fight with 2 health potions or 3, whatever your full health potions, when you respawn at the lesser checkpoint, it will actually give you your potions back. It basically restarts you in the same form you were when you went in. So it's not that bad. You just got to make sure you get there with those potions if you're going to need the help. And mostly what you do is you learn the pattern, you dodge the thing, you hit them a bunch. The bosses have a stun meter. If they fill up, they get stunned for a while. You can just unload on them.
Do you have an opportunity to use Pac-Man in like real-time combat?
No.
Like, can you throw him at enemies or anything like that? Really? No, that's kind of interesting.
Not so far.
Yeah.
I do have there's a bunch of perks you can equip. There's a certain amount you can equip for that. And one of the perks is it lets Pac-Man eat the orbs. Like, so I can send him. He will go and eat the orbs instead of me having to go pick them up when the enemies drop them all the time.
And here's leveling up. So you can choose between what you want when you level up?
This isn't leveling up so much as just enhancing your stamina and attack.
Okay.
So like you can do that at these stops. They cost money early on. Once you get to I think level 4 upgrades start costing specific materials, which you don't see for a very long time. So
now, the one that you don't choose, can you still choose it later on? It doesn't go away?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're always there.
All right.
I was stuck at like the level 3 of both of these for a long time because I didn't have the extra material, the high grade material I needed to do the next upgrade.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's another way they gate things, basically. Like, they're like, okay, you're powerful enough until you get to the point where you start picking this stuff up.
Yeah.
So, and you'll run into NPCs that are various shops through the game that sell you like perk stuff and full-on upgrades. You know, the things that, like, you know, this takes less stamina, and those are usually perks that you have a certain amount of perks you can equip, and you have to decide.
What uses the stamina? Because this meter is always full.
Well, for now, in this part of the game, the only thing that's using stamina is dodging.
Okay.
Eventually, there will be the parrying uses dodging, grabbing enemies to eat them uses dodging. You get an air dash that uses stamina. Basically, every special ability you get uses stamina in some way.
Okay.
So early on, it's not a problem, and I was certainly upgrading my health and my attack faster. I was more concentrating on finding the health upgrades and upgrading the sword. And then I hit a point where I'm like, oh, all of a sudden you need to use these other abilities.
And your stamina bars.
And the stamina bar was not adequate,
Yeah.
so we had to grind a little bit. But yeah, that's basically it. And again, it does actually have, it's like a big space opera, weird anime Star Wars story that ends up involving Xevious and Bosconian and all these other Namco properties. And like, you know, the Pac-Man guy knows what's going on. Your character does not. But
so there's this weird relationship between the two of you where
the
Pac-Man's keeping stuff from you.
Oh yeah, well, Pac-Man's using you. If you've seen Secret Level.
Yeah. So it's the same premise as that.
Yeah, it's exactly this. It's literally the next guy he's resurrected.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
So, and this girl keeps showing up, and they know each other, and she doesn't like him. But she does kind of like you.
I'll send you back to prison where you belong, she just said.
Yeah, he seems to maybe be some kind of war criminal from an ancient cosmic war. You do find out more about him. I don't think this is not his original form. Like, I think he's a person stuck in a robo-sphere.
He just transformed, yeah.
I think he's in the short from Secret Level, like, makes a stronger case for this, that like I think he's in prison here. I think he's using you to get out of prison.
Pac-Man is.
Yeah.
It's so funny to even talk about this. It's freaking Pac-Man. It's so. I mean, I kind of like that they're just like, you know what? Let's just throw everything out.
Yeah.
That we've ever thought about Pac-Man, and let's just start over and just reboot this character as something entirely different. Because otherwise, it was this big IP that it owned that really couldn't do that much.
Yeah, like you can see here, that's basically the Orange Ghost.
Yeah,
that's kind of the equivalent here.
That's funny. It's pretty. I mean,
Orange
look, it's
G-Host.
Yeah, Orange G-Host. I mean, it's pretty creative the way that they managed to do this.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed playing it?
I have. Like, some of it is really annoying.
I saw it has the Metroid map.
Yeah, the map doesn't do a great job of showing you the boundaries of things. But it's good enough. It does. The iconography is very good, so you can mark it however you want and like kind of create your own little sort of key of like, these are important things around here.
Are the gates gated by abilities?
They can be,
like Metroid, where you need a very specific missile to shoot the door for it to open.
I mean some stuff, but usually anything that's locked up tends to be specific to the area, and you got to find like a security code or activate the power or something like that.
So you grab something local that opens
the only thing I've seen, I mean, there are these like little like blue hexagon things that clearly you're gonna eventually get like a grappling hook to like swing up or jump between that I haven't gotten yet. Otherwise, it's just like, well, clearly I need to be able to jump higher. I don't know if and eventually you can basically use the air dash to sort of solve that. And I assume there's a double jump in my future one day too. That seems pretty obvious.
I was surprised that this is only $30.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right.
Is it? It seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
no,
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's about right. I mean, it feels like it's a 2D Metroidvania. I'm not sure how long it is. I'm about 5 hours in, and it feels like I'm maybe halfway.
I mean, that's pretty good for a $30 game.
Keeping in mind, I've probably spent at least an hour just sort of wandering around trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then, again, you can see the variety. There's a pretty good variety of environments. Like, this is the forest area. And like it's not just all one giant dark cyberpunk dystopia the way like the kind of the marketing sort of made it
every
look.
trailer is set in that like very sort of like
it's actually pretty varied.
Yeah, I was surprised when I started watching footage of it for sure. So this is called Shadow Labyrinth. Do you think they should have had Pac-Man's name in there somewhere?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's fine.
It might help it with sales a little bit.
I don't know if it would, because Pac-Man makes you think of something completely different.
That's true.
It's more. I think it's more fun to sort of like discover that as you go.
Yeah, it definitely was probably a better idea.
That's the other thing that annoys me in this is you can't kill things through obstacles.
Oh.
And that includes platforms you're underneath.
Really?
So you can't like you saw there like he couldn't slash through that. If they're on the platform above you and you're hitting up, it also won't hit them. You have to put yourself in their line of fire.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of realistic.
Sort of, but like
it
it's
breaks
also
some game rules.
Again, it's not how these games usually work.
Yeah.
Usually, like being below somebody is sort of your secret weapon.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird. That was something I had to get used to.
I noticed there's cheap stuff in this too, where dude just jumps off screen and just goes times it perfectly with where you're either running or climbing.
Yeah, they know where you're gonna be. They're very good at aiming at where you're gonna be, or exactly where you don't want them to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy. Forgot about this guy. This guy gives you some special It gives you the sword upgrade. So this thing you can shoot. You use that to use its stamina to shoot a wave of energy. Mm-hmm. And the fun thing about that one is you can hit the Y button to do it, and it kind of is a little charge up, shoots the thing. If you do it at the end of a 3-hit combo, it takes no time. It takes no charge time. So you just add it on for free damage at the end of your normal combo, mm-hmm. and that is a very important boss fighting ability.
I'll just tell you, I wish more publishers and developers treated their IP like this, where they were
mm-hmm.
like, let's just go crazy with it and try something unique and different. Like, it's not going to ruin the IP. Like,
again, you're not. That's the thing about this is like, you're not going to sully the Xevious IP or anything. It's like, Pac-Man.
Even though I do love Xevious,
Pac-Man's the biggest thing here.
Yeah.
And like, but it's whatever. Like, do whatever you want.
Did you say Galaga's in there too?
There's some enemies that clearly are Galaga references.
Yeah.
Nobody's mentioned Galaga yet.
Mm-hmm. By name, you mean?
By name. There's been a couple things that kind of looked like the Dig Dug guy's head.
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know if it was intentional, but probably.
Yeah. This would be a good Game Pass game too, actually.
Xevious and Bosconian have been mentioned by name. The bad guy from Xevious, Gant, is mentioned by name in this. They are. You are on a planet called Xevious at one point. Like it's clearly the Namco classic arcade cinematic universe. So
which I can't believe they made
that. I mean, it's a bold choice.
It really is. I admire Bandai Namco for doing this. Like,
it's cool.
You have this IP sitting there that a lot of people love, but you can't really find a new way to do anything with it. Let's just completely just throw out all the rules and just.
And you're kind of flipping the script with Pac-Man. Pac-Man's kind of the most sinister thing in this.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. Like, it's an interesting way to see him. And again, it works in the sense that the character is entirely about consumption.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that isn't usually a positive thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's a cute little yellow guy who runs around eating stuff. You just don't think about it. And now you're like, oh, what about... It's almost a little like, Todd McFarlane 90s comic. It's like, oh, Pac-Man in a darker, earlier time. American McGee's
origin
Pac-Man.
story.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
So,
I like what they've done with it.
Back when he was a bad boy.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fun take on it.
Yeah. I think this game would have done well on Game Pass.
Maybe, yeah.
I also feel like when they market this, even though Pac-Man's not in the name, like I haven't seen the box art for it, like Pac-Man should be on the box art.
I don't even know if there is box art.
Right. I don't know if there is a physical version, actually.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the pictures I've seen in terms of like promotional things are that giant shadow Pac-Man popping out of the guy's chest.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you what it is. And the weird thing is when he does that, there is sort of a very deeply pitched.
Oh, really?
Like it's not like obvious, but you can hear it underneath all of it, and
cool.
you're like, it's okay. I see you. And there is an extra pack actually. A DLC pack you can get that changes when you play the actual Pac-Man levels in the little like Stellas or whatever. It actually changes all the sounds to the classic 1980 Pac-Man set because the ones now are like more like Championship Edition sounds. Mm-hmm. So just so you know, but without that pack, when you're on the walls, it still goes a waka 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 sound normally.
Nice. Well, there you go. That is Shadow Labyrinth. It is available for everything.
Yeah.
PC, both PlayStations, both Xboxes, and I believe both Switches. I think it's, Switch 2 and Switch 1. Yeah. So it's available for everything. It is only $30. It does seem like it would have been a great candidate for Game Pass, but at $30, like, I think it's priced right.
Vincent says there's also Ace Combat references in it. Which
Oh,
I
really?
haven't seen yet. But that wouldn't surprise me if Raspberry's Squadron showed up here at some point.
There's probably going to be a lot more eventually, be my guess. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. The Shadow Labyrinth, $30, available for pretty much everything. If you want to see Pac-Man in a new light, this is your only opportunity to really do it. And again, I wish other publishers looked at their IP like this and tried to do different things where it still stayed true to kind of the core concept of it, but allows it a lot more latitude to do a bunch of different things.
But also, even if it wasn't Pac-Man, it would still be a pretty good Metroidvania.
Good Metroidvania. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good game on its own, even without that.
All right. Our last game that we're talking about on GameFace, is a little game called The Wandering Village.
We're not doing the Hobbit cozy game?
No. Why, did you play it?
No.
Oh, I didn't either.
It got like 4s.
Yeah.
It's
actually reviewed better than I thought.
Yeah?
I thought it was going to get like 1s. Maybe a next week's show.
Apparently that had a very troubled development.
Oh, yeah. It was delayed like 4 times. I'm surprised it came out. I thought it was going to be canceled. And I think like GameSpot gave it like a 7 or something. I was like, okay. Like, all right.
Maybe it didn't use the right stick to look.
I don't know.
Big bonus points for that.
Yeah. Well, next we're going to talk about a little game that I've been playing called The Wandering Village. And I was saying earlier...
hello, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. Look at you.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier how I had these 4 games, and I had to decide all week which one I wanted to play. And I'll just be honest with you, I found myself being drawn to this game more than almost all the others I played this week. It is a village sim where you build a village, but you build it on the back of a massive creature. And so that may sound like a gimmick, and you're like, oh, that's looks cool, sounds cool, but what does it really mean? And it means a lot. First of all, if you watch the B-roll of this, you're going to assume that it's a Civilization clone or a game like Civilization. And at its core, it is. You start with basically a blank template, and you start building structures, and as you build structures, you add new citizens, and as you get more citizens, you unlock more things you can build, and on and on and on it goes. And it is that way, except it's a very stripped down version of that. So
are they paying Miyazaki royalties here? Because like, God dang it, like this is some lawsuit shit.
It really
here.
is. It's that
if
bad.
you want to talk about Sony suing for Horizon, Ghibli might want to take a look.
Well, the story of this is that basically, like, where you live and your people live has become toxic, and so
I know. I've seen Nausicaa. That's exactly the same story.
You're on the run to try to find a new place for your people, and you discover these massive creatures, and they are going to be the things that take you to this promised land. So the actual village sim part of this, where you're building the sim, is very stripped down. So if you've played Civilization, you don't get things like diplomacy or religion, or any of kind of that second layer of depth that you get from Civilization. This is literally just building your little village, and that's pretty much it. You don't get caught up in the other minutia. The twist for this is the fact that you are doing this on the back of a massive creature. And while you're building your village and maintaining all that stuff and doing the usual stuff that you do in Civilization and other games of its ilk, you also have to maintain the massive creature that you're riding on. And so you're balancing 2 things at once, and they're both happening in real time, and you can't stop it. You can speed up to like 4x speed, but you can only slow it down to 1x. So there's no stopping or pausing the game at all. The stuff just keeps on happening. So as you're riding on this creature, it is a living, breathing thing that you have to maintain. So as you can see in that last shot, it's sleeping right now. Every once in a while, it has to stop and take a nap and take a break. It also has to
Girls
eat.
same.
It also has to eat, and you have to monitor all this stuff with the monster. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started playing it, the game kind of handles the monster stuff for you for the first like hour or whatever. Like, he will just come across stuff to eat, and he'll eat it, or he'll get to like a crossroad, and he'll automatically decide which way to go or whatever.
Is there a reason you want him to keep moving?
Because you're trying to find your new place where your people are going to live.
Why don't you just live here?
Well, you can't, because you've been run out of where you live, basically. And so along the way, like the monster...
Why don't you live, let the monster die and live on its back?
Maybe it eventually rots and everything just collapses. I don't know.
I have to admit, this is not what I thought the game was going to look like.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it would be more like you could be down in the 3D
in the thick of it. You can zoom in, but the one thing, one of my biggest complaints with this is that you don't have as good of a camera as I would like. It keeps you at kind of like a cockeyed angle at all times. So if stuff that's like stacked on top of itself, it can be hard to select things and not select something else. That's kind of one of my big complaints. But as you see, you can kind of zoom down and get a little bit closer to the action, actually see what people are doing. In this part of the game...
I just didn't expect everything to look like a sticker.
Yeah. And this part of the game is very much like every other game of its type. Like, you start with very simple buildings, and you have wood. And from that wood, you can build your first structure. Well, that first structure unlocks. It gives you the ability to open up or be able to, like, farm for food or grow a garden or collect mud or collect mushrooms. As it goes, you get these. So once you get mushrooms, that gives you the ability to build another thing. It just all kind of builds on itself until eventually you have this crazy society living on the back of this creature. That's the simple part of it. The harder part is the monster part, because as you build things on the back of the monster, you also have to build things on the back of the monster that helps the monster. So you have to build like a trebuchet that you can load up with fish and use the trebuchet to launch the fish into the monster's mouth to feed the monster. At a certain point, you build like this guard post that will tell the monster where to go, whether to turn left or right. What the monster walks through has a huge effect on the game in general. He'll walk through like toxic areas, and the clouds come in and it'll kill off or poison a lot of your population. Then you have to build this other thing that will, an herb factory basically, that your citizens can come and grab and heal themselves from poison. At a certain point, my entire population died of poison because my monster went through a cloud, everybody got poisoned, and by the time I found the herbs, built the thing that I needed to harvest the herbs, and then built the thing that I needed to convert the herbs, the doctor's office, to convert the herbs into medicine, everybody had died. And it is very hard to, like, I feel like if the trick that I found that I wish I had known when I first started playing is watch the log on the bottom left. It tells you everything. And I was just playing the game, not paying attention to it. Once I started paying attention to it, I started doing way better at the game, because it'll alert you to things like, hey, the monster's coming up to a crossroads. You need to tell it whether you want to go left or right. And here's the thing, like, some of the buildings that you build in this only work in certain conditions. Like, you can build a fishery, but the fishery just sits there doing nothing until the monster gets into water or it starts raining. Then all of a sudden the fishery comes alive. So you have to make sure that you're building stuff with that in mind. Like, you don't want to build a bunch of fisheries because they only work with very specific parts of the game. However, you can eventually choose to tell the monster to go on a path that has water. So as you play, you build all these devices that live on the back of the monster that actually maintains the monster, and so to speak. Like, eventually my monster ran out of food and died. And when the monster dies, your game is over, because yeah, you need the monster to get to where you're going. When it loads up again, it gives you like a little more time than you would have had normally to try to fix the problem. But I'm sure you've done this in these games like this, where you save and you kind of screwed up saving, and this is like the only good save you have, and you got to try to save the save by like fixing the thing that you screwed up with the amount of time that they give you. I found myself falling into that treadmill on this as well. Like, the monster died, and they give you just enough time to try to fix the problem, so you keep trying it like over and over again, and eventually, I'll just admit, I just gave up and went back to a save that was way back in the past. But I was so good at the game at that point that I didn't hit like the stumbling block later on. So anyway, this is like Civ chopped down to its essence on the back of a monster that you have to maintain. And I just can't think of any other game that I've ever played like this in my life. I ended up getting hopelessly addicted to it. Like, a big part of the strategy is like, so villager happiness is really important, and they look at like the food source, what the variety, is there enough of it, do they have shelter from the weather when the weather comes, all that kind of stuff. That gauges their happiness. And if the villagers are happy, nomads come into contact with your monster, and if they're happy, they will join up, and that's how you build your population, so you have more people. A big part of the strategy, and you're seeing the tree right now to build stuff, a big part of the strategy is allocating your resources. So if you don't need wood, take the guys off of the wood station and reallocate them somewhere else where you need something else done. Like, you need herbs all of a sudden, like, because the guy died or everyone died, and now you need to build the herb factory or whatever. Pull everybody off of the other stuff that they're working on, build the herb factory, then pull them off of that. It's all about allocating your people to all the different things that you need them to do at once. It can be overwhelming at times, but there are also times where this game, you get it into a level of zen. And you can just zoom back, and it's like watching an ant colony. And everything's just all working together. You got the guys pulling the wood planks from the place that turns the wood into usable items that are taking it to the building. You have other people who are grabbing the stone slabs that you're building to this other building, and it's just kind of all happening all on its own because you set it up right. And it's very satisfying to see. Then you realize, oh wait, I need to pay attention to the monster. So even when you feel like you've got it into a groove, there's always stuff to be worried about and concerned about in this game. For the most part, they give you the tools that you need. As far as the plot is concerned, like every once in a while, these dudes just pop up. They're like, hey, here's this big pile of rubble. We don't know what it is. Clear it out. You clear it out, you find an antenna or like a satellite dish underneath it that allows you to communicate with all the people that you left behind going to try to find a new place to live. And then that adds like onto the next like main objective that you have to need to accomplish for the main campaign. And that's pretty much how the game proceeds. Again, it is called The Wandering Village. This game is $30, but it's on sale right now on pretty much every platform. You can get it for like $20. I think $30 is worth $30 on its own. So for $20, it's a no-brainer. I really enjoy this. I played like 4 or 5 games this week. This is the one I found myself coming back to and playing again and again. I don't know why. It just got me totally addicted to it. I will say this. It could use a better tutorial. It doesn't explain a lot of things. It's simple enough that eventually you do figure it out. But in those early stages of the game, there's a lot of things that you do that are very important, and you could screw them up. So my recommendation is play it for like an hour and then start over again. And it will be an entirely different game to you. You will set yourself up for so much success in the future, understanding how everything works when you first start the game. So I recommend playing it and kind of creating your own tutorial, playing it for an hour, figuring out the lay of the land, how everything works, how all the systems talk to each other, how you manage the monster and all that. Then just start the game over and you'll hit the ground running. And you won't bump into a lot of the issues that I bumped into eventually. But like, there's lots of nuances to it. Like, for example, here's the farm. And so you can see there, well, sorry, I just went past it. But you can see there, not again. I lost it. I lost the B-roll. But once you've like selected a unit or whatever, you can do a bunch of things. Like like the farm, you can choose like, let's say like everyone's starving and you need a bunch of food. You can go and set up the farm to just harvest alone. Just whatever pops up, take it, put it in storage so people can eat. Or if you're working on a longer term strategy, you can set up the farm so that as you are harvesting, you're also planting. And it becomes this sustainable thing where you keep 3 people working on it and they're planting just as much as they're harvesting. And you can just like set it and forget it and leave it alone. You can always go to any unit and take people away from it or add people to it to make it more productive or less productive if you need people elsewhere. It's a simple game, but there's a lot of hidden depth to it. I had a blast playing this game. There's really nothing else like it. If you wanted to like Civ in the past and then you played it and you're like, this is actually way too much for me, I think this is a really good alternative. I wouldn't say it's like Civ for kids, but kind of. It kind of is. I think kids could play this too without any problem. I think it has an E rating or a T rating. There's nothing in it that's really offensive or whatever. So you could put your kids on this and be like, and then when you're ready, Daddy will show you Civ. This is a good learning tool to learn the basics of how games like this work, with the extra wrinkle of maintaining the monster and make sure the monster is staying alive and taking you to your destination. So anyway,
it's more like training wheels RTS to me.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, there's no combat in this. Mm-hmm. You don't fight anything,
right? But it's like maintaining your
in real time.
A lot of people wish RTSs didn't have combat.
Right, that's true.
They just want to build stuff.
But you're right. I mean, RTS is real time, and this is real time. Everything's just happening. Nothing ever stops. Nothing ever pauses. Like I said, you can speed up stuff to 4 times, but you can never go slower than 1 time speed. So you can't slow things down to give yourself a break. But again, like I said, play it for a little bit, start over, and you won't find yourself in a bind, and you can just keep making progress. And it's pretty endearing too. Like, I found myself attached to the monster after a while because it is like a symbiotic relationship where you're helping it and it's helping you, and it feels good when you do things for the monster, when you feed it for the first time.
What was the one that was what's his name? Omu?
The name of the monster? Yeah, it's called I'm surprised you know that. Onbu.
Onbu?
Yeah.
What was the Onbu discipliner?
I don't know, actually.
That was one of the.
I never used that.
In the tech
list
tree,
of things.
There was an Onbu discipliner.
I don't know.
Just,
Maybe if he starts going rogue or whatever, I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, I wish I had recorded some footage from my game that shows this, like after your settlement is like all evolved and like everything's happening. But I didn't. I just recorded the first like hour that I played or whatever, and just made the B-roll from that. But anyway, this is called The Wandering Village. It is available for everything, every platform. They're asking $30 for it, but you can get it for like $20 pretty much everywhere. And I would not have any problem or any issue with you spending $30 on this game. I think you'll get your money's worth and then some. There's no doubt in my mind that you can play this game differently. Like they force you to start the same with like the woodcutters or whatever, but from there you can pretty much take it in any direction you want to. So there is reason to replay this if you really liked it. So there is some replayability in there as well. So again, for $30. I'm totally cool. For $20, I definitely say go get it. Another game that probably would have done very well on Game Pass. So there you go. That is The Wandering Village. And that brings us to our lightning round news roundup, where we go through a list of stories, and I somehow have lost the lower third for that. I don't know where it ended up. Where we go through the big news stories of the week in rapid fire fashion, or at least rapid fire for us anyway, Matt. Our definition of rapid fire is different than everybody else's. And it was kind of a slow news week, but there were some big stories. And definitely the biggest story that did not make it into GameFace proper as a big topic is that Microsoft has already changed its stance on $80 games. So was it last week we talked about it, or 2 weeks ago we talked about The Outer Worlds being Xbox's first $80 game, and last week Microsoft was like, nope, we've changed our mind. Now it's going to cost $70. Why do you think this happened, Matt?
I don't know.
Do you think it's the game that they figured the game wasn't worthy of $80, or do you think
that is not something they ever think about?
Yeah. So you think they just decided in general that it was just not a good idea? Fan feedback?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Microsoft's done anything with a higher priced game that would result in this. So
right.
There must be some kind of internal focus testing or some other thing they learned from Take-Two or something, something they know that we don't. Because
don't forget Borderlands, everyone thought that was going to be $80, and that ended up being $70. They backed
off on that.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there, somebody must have figured out that like this is not the audience is not going to go for this yet, especially considering how much more everything costs anyway right now.
Yeah,
I think that price jump is coming, but probably not this year. Like one day that games are going to be $80, but it is not this day.
Yeah. What game do you think will be the first $80 Xbox game?
GTA 6.
Oh, really? First party. Like one of Xbox
party?
games,
I don't know. I can't think of something.
Gears of War E-Day, Fable, maybe? I mean,
you want Fable. You want as many people to play Fable as possible.
I mean, that's what you're thinking about here, though. It's like, which game will people be willing to pay $80 for?
I can't think of one that Microsoft has right now. Maybe Forza Horizon.
To me, it seems like Fable is the most likely.
No, people don't remember what the fuck Fable is.
Really?
No, it's been 15 years.
But why are they making it then?
Because they want people to try it and play this new thing that can become a viable and living IP again. Fable 3 was a very long time ago.
It was, yeah.
That was 15 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, most game buyers have never played a Fable
game.
Yeah.
And so Fable is something you want the barrier of entry to be very low on. I guess
they did have a game that released like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
This is a new IP.
Right, and then they backed off it. So there you go.
But I mean, it makes sense to back off it for this. To me,
it makes sense to back off it for Fable too.
I would say Fable more likely, but Gears of War E-Day probably the most likely.
I think that's an even worse idea. Like again, I can't think of a thing that people would want hell or high water enough to pay $80 for it from Microsoft.
Nobody's ever going to want $80 games, but you're going to have to do it. So you have to try to figure out like what is the game that's like people are going to be able to be like, okay, I get it.
None of them that Microsoft has. The closest I think they might have is Horizon 6.
Forza Horizon 6. Yeah, because they don't have like a Last of Us or God of War.
No. Especially because then you can throw in a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
And it's nebulous. Because again, you make the VIP version the default version, you know?
I mean, Game Pass cheapens the perceived value of Xbox's games. It just does.
Sure, but also Xbox doesn't really have a lot of must-have IP right now. I mean, I guess there's a time when I would have just said Halo right away, but I don't think that's true anymore.
That doesn't get it done anymore. I agree. Yeah, so anyway, if you guys were freaking out about $80 games from Xbox, they're put on hold at least till now. I do think some game next year will be $80.
Maybe. I think they recognize that they are not the ones to start this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't because Nintendo Mario Kart's $80.
Right, but like that's not default.
Yeah.
Right now. Even Nintendo. I mean, if Nintendo had then gone ahead and charged $80 for Donkey Kong, that would be different.
Yeah.
But this is. I think Microsoft needs to wait until this is basically industry standard. They cannot be the canary in the coal mine for this because they do not have strong enough IP for it.
I agree.
You need to get people to sort of grudgingly accept that this is the new normal and then price to adjust.
All right. Next up, in the lightning round. So
here's a game that should definitely not be the first $80 game.
So I don't know what the bigger surprise here. I don't know what the real surprise is here. I don't know if it's the fact that State of Decay 3 hasn't been canceled or that it's now coming to PlayStation 5.
I mean, it should. Like any.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about something you want to spread across anyone can get a chance to play it. State of Decay is one of those.
Yeah, this game this information is coming from MP First, and it's not just State of Decay 3. It's also Gears of War E-Day is coming day and date to PlayStation 5. So we talked about PlayStation starting to put some of its games maybe on Xbox, but probably not, but maybe. And now here we have Xbox with two of its biggest games for next year, as presumably State of Decay 3 is next year, coming to PS5 day and date. First of all, I'm surprised State of Decay isn't canceled, and it still could be canceled. Honestly.
Yeah, it just doesn't mean
that just may be the plan for right now.
Yeah.
But Gears of War E-Day coming day and date on a PlayStation console, that's a big deal. That used to be the forbidden fruit for PlayStation fans for a long time.
I don't think any of this is really a big deal anymore in the sense
Xbox.
that Xbox has given up on making people buy their hardware.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the Xbox hardware is sort of there if you want it, but otherwise we'd just rather you play the game, please.
Yeah.
And obviously the Game Pass situation makes it, you can pay $70 on PlayStation or just get it as part of your Game Pass subscription on several other platforms.
Yeah.
By then you'll have the Rogue available, and you'll have, if you wanted to pay $1,000 for that, and you'll have PC, you'll have Xbox. It's
I would argue
a lot of options.
I would argue day and date for State of Decay 3 might be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if depends what kind of state thing.
Because usually those games launch in a horrible state.
In a state of decay, yes.
Seriously. You may want to wait on that one for like 6 months.
Both State of Decay games after like a year were great.
Are great.
But launch window, I had to stop playing State of Decay 2 because it kept deleting my fucking cars.
Yeah.
And like that's important. There's only so many working cars in the game.
Yeah, I think this is a terrible idea to put State of Decay on PS5 day.
Well, let's see if it actually.
We'll see if it happens, but I think that's a terrible idea. We'll see. Next up in the lightning round, Battlefield 6 was debuted this week, Matt, and nobody cares. Literally, hardly any comments on SIFTD. Not a ton of views.
I don't know if you're going to get 100 million players on this one, boys.
Yeah. I mean, based on our data, not a great debut. To be fair, this is all based on the single-player campaign. The multiplayer reveal is in 2 days, I believe, on Thursday.
Yeah, although some of that already leaked.
Did it?
Yeah.
I mean, multiplayer stuff
it looks
has been
really
leaking.
good.
Yeah,
like
it
visually, unbelievable. And apparently it's only like 20 gigs installed.
Really?
It's some crazy low, like 30 gig install or something. It's some crazy low install footprint.
That's insane. How'd they do that?
No, people were speculating that like literal whips.
What
get the install smaller.
I mean, some of the stories coming out of the development team for this game, some of them have had to take mental health leave from working so many hours working on this. But I guess one thing I would say is, this is the first game that you have basically the OG Call of Duty creator working on. And this looks a whole lot like Call of Duty.
Yeah, but it also looks a lot like Battlefield.
Because it's the destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, actually, and I don't remember if this was official footage or leaked footage, but somebody blew up one of the tanks, and the turret flew off and landed on a guy and killed him.
So it's like real war.
Yeah, it was actual, debris from the tank killed a guy on the other side because it blew. It was a nice. I mean, if I'd been the guy who got killed by the tank turret, I'd be pretty pissed. But it's a hazard, and the collapsing stuff just does seem more extensive than it has been.
That shot right there.
That's very cool.
Are you freaking kidding me? Look at how many vehicles are in that shot.
And the sky isn't flashing.
Yeah, the sky is staying there where it's supposed to. Look, they brought in Vince Zampella to help this franchise compete with Call of Duty. And I mean, you're right. The destruction kind of tells you that it's Battlefield. But otherwise, this could have been a Call of Duty trailer. Like, it's the gameplay variety that they show off, everything. It's like the bad guy.
The Call of Duty characters would have looked a little better than that.
Yeah, probably.
You're still... everybody's still got kind of that weird plastic Frostbite
You're right.
look to
yeah,
them.
There's only so much you can do with that engine, but a lot of people are comparing this to Battlefield Bad Company too. They're saying it looks like
I definitely had Bad Company 2 thoughts seeing some of it, especially the destruction. Destruction seems thorough in a way that Battlefield hasn't been since Bad Company.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that this hasn't drawn more interest. Again, like I'm just talking about SIFTD. I haven't looked everywhere else. I haven't seen how many.
I've seen people talking about it. Obviously, it hasn't really conquered the zeitgeist. It seems like mostly it was PC players that were excited about it. I haven't seen a lot of talk in the console space for whatever reason. And obviously there's skepticism about it because what the last one was.
I also think debuting games right now is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's not really a great time to push this. But they got to start. It was coming in November or whatever.
It's like this every July and August. Like, our traffic is way down. Everybody's out doing stuff. Everyone's on vacation. They're spending time with friends and family. There's just not as many people spending a ton of time online during these 2 months. I mean, we can see it in our numbers for our live streams right now. This is the way it is every summer. The numbers dip because people are out doing different stuff. It feels like a lot of people may not even know that the first trailer for this game is out there right now. So, Battlefield 6 is its title.
Yeah, what they're going to have to do is when they do the gameplay reveal, not that we haven't already seen the leaked multiplayer footage, but they're going to need to really blow it all out and show us why we should be bothering to play this.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the rumor right now is November is coming out, which is crazy. I mean, they've been working on it a long time, but
it feels like kind of a suicide mission.
It does. I would wait till March, man.
Same.
Just make that thing as polished as possible.
Keep it in the fiscal year, but get the fuck away from Call of Duty.
Yeah, man. We'll see. That's not confirmed yet. That's the rumor. It's coming in November, so we'll see what the truth is. But if I'm EA, I want to get as far away from Call of Duty.
I feel like doing a February, March gives you a lot more breathing space.
Yeah, and it gives you a lot more time to market the game as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Without being confused for Call of Duty in the middle of it.
Right. Yeah. Because again, looking at that trailer, the layman could definitely be fooled into thinking that was Call of Duty for sure. And I think that's what they brought him in for, Vince. That's why he's there, to make that line between the two franchises not as pronounced as it has been for the last 20 years or whatever.
You got to bring Battlefield up to the standard.
Yeah.
Frankly.
That's the truth. Yep. All right, next up in the lightning round, we just talked about Star Wars Outlaws last week, and miraculously it's right back in the news this week. It has been uncovered that there was a sequel to Star Wars Outlaws in the works, and that it has now been canceled by Ubisoft. Smart move or not, Matt?
Probably smart move.
Yeah.
I would have certainly liked to have seen it, but again, if you are they made this project with the assumption they were going to get Jedi numbers, and they were never going to get that because it's not Jedi. Nothing against it, but she doesn't have a lightsaber.
Yeah,
that's literally. And every time you see people when people have asked me about this game, I've had casual friends ask me about this game. They're like, "Is it any good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's way better than it was. Everything's complete. It's all out, so it's a good time to jump into it." And they're like, "But she gets to be a Jedi eventually, right?" I'm like, "No, she's never be a Jedi." And then they're like, "Oh, maybe I'll wait for it to be on sale or something." And it's just it's the core of what Star Wars is as a fantasy, really. It's ironic in an era where we're in the same year basically where the biggest thing in Star Wars was Andor.
Right.
Maybe the only major project that didn't have a lightsaber in it at any point.
And it was great. But it had to be great to transcend that.
Yeah. It's probably the best Star Wars thing in
a long time.
I would say it's better than all but maybe 3 of the movies.
I agree.
But you just have to, you have to budget and scale a project like this to expect that people are going to be less interested because it's not what they think of as Star Wars.
If I were Ubisoft, I would approach Nintendo about making the sequel an exclusive to Switch 2.
Yeah, that's
I think that could work.
It could.
Because look, if this one only sold 2 or 3 million units, 3 years from now on Switch 2, I guarantee if it were an exclusive on Switch 2, it would sell more than 2 or 3 million units. Maybe. For sure.
And then Nintendo's be like, "Yeah, we tried a Star Wars exclusive last gen. No thanks."
Yeah. But look, there's a history of Star Wars exclusives on Nintendo consoles going all the way back to Rogue Leader and all that stuff. Yeah. So I think that could work, but from Ubisoft's perspective right now, it can't really do anything risky at all.
No,
like, it needs to play it real safe right now. So that's probably not in the
I think they did in the end treat this game properly. Like, they fixed everything. They made it a better game. They listened to the community. They added the stuff people wanted. I cannot believe they needed people to tell them that she should be able to shoot from the fucking speeder. But here we are. They did. They got it done.
Yeah.
It's a really good game now. Much better than it was when it launched, because if you can recall, I was not super enthused about this when it came out.
Yeah.
And I have finished it, gone through all the stuff, and it's a much better game now.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's too bad that we're not gonna, because I bet a sequel would have been
a lot better.
Really would have been something.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet you'd be able to do Coruscant. You'd be able to see some really cool stuff in the Star Wars world from a perspective that you've never been able to see it from before, which is one of the biggest draws of it. Just the fact that this is happening. If you watch that band, that's all synced up.
Oh, I know.
Like, that's
it's
all
real.
Completely real. Like, they're like they are, like, down to the keyboard presses. Like,
people don't notice that stuff.
They did a huge job on this.
I find myself doing this stuff all the time, Matt, where I just put like hidden things in stuff that nobody ever sees, and like nobody ever does see it. People don't notice it. Like, and I'm like, I always like, that'll be cool when people find it. They never find it. So you just wasted your time. I've stopped hiding Easter eggs and stuff that I work on. I've done it my whole life. I don't do it anymore. It's not worth the hassle. So anyway, looks like the franchise is probably dead unless we get really lucky and what I mentioned with Nintendo happens, but that's probably not, because right now Ubisoft is crazy risk averse. All right, next up in the lightning round is 2 more stories.
You can tell because they didn't even make a new Avatar game.
Yeah, you're right.
They're just gonna make the old one third person and hope that moves the needle.
Yep. Matt mentioned this earlier. PlayStation is suing Tencent over Light of Motiram. We showed this game to you guys months ago here on GameFace. It is one of the most blatant ripoffs of another video game I have ever seen. This one in particular basically completely rips off Horizon Zero Dawn.
I mean, Wandering
Village
was that's not a video game, but that was, Ghibli should might want to have a word.
I want to
with
talk
somebody.
to the lawyers, yeah. This one, they did talk to the lawyers, and they are suing Tencent. And here's the thing, it's like, I think what puts this over the top, it's very difficult to prove copyright, trademark infringement cases, but what sets this apart is that Tencent came to PlayStation a couple years ago and said, hey, how about we make you a Horizon game set in the East? And PlayStation was like, no thanks, we're good. And a year and a half later, this game is introduced, which is basically Horizon set in the East.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to prove anything, because again, you can't copyright gameplay. I mean, this isn't the same gameplay, obviously. It's more of an
likenesses
crafting
and
that's tough. Even Nintendo, when they went after Pal World, ended up really the only thing they got was the Pokeball as an enforceable trademark they use as a symbol for the whole brand. So that had to be removed. But like, it's going to be real hard to, like, basically you better hope they've stolen some assets,
like literally lifted them, which they probably haven't.
I would not imagine they have.
Wouldn't think they would be
but
that
again,
dumb.
You never know.
This is so blatant a ripoff, though. Even this scene, like looking at the paintings on the cave wall, it's the
designs
disgusting.
of all the everyone wearing the metal headgear.
Yeah,
It's again.
If there's ever a case,
I don't. Well, that's the thing, is I don't think there is one.
Yeah,
it would be very hard if they've done their own thing. You can't really copyright an art style.
Yeah,
like
I know.
They can't.
It'll
really
be a
do
tough
anything
case
about
to win.
Like robot animals, even if they are designed very similarly, like there's not much. Again, if you want to go back to that, you could probably, Sony could probably get sued by Zoids. You're right. It's a hard thing to prove in court.
My guess is what's happening here is PlayStation's lawyers know that, and what it's trying to do is force Tencent to just stop developing the game because
they're never going to do
of the legal fees.
They're never
Sony's.
Gonna do that.
Well, I think Sony's angle here is convince Tencent that it's going to spend $100 million defending this case, and that it won't be worth it to continue development of the game, and they'll just stop making it.
But Tencent has the resources for
because it has more money than pretty much anyone. Yeah, I agree with you. They'll probably still keep making it anyway. Because now you're also giving this game, like we are right now, a lot of free promotion.
Right, it's a lot of free. And again, it makes more sense to settle that and still put the game out and make your money back.
Yep.
Which they probably would. Because it actually looks, I mean, it's not really usually my kind of thing because there's too much survival shit and building stuff. But like, it looks pretty good.
It does.
I mean, I feel like Sony probably should have said yes to that pitch, frankly.
Probably.
Like
but
I would,
they don't want to
if this was official Horizon, I would be in.
And I would not say no, it's not.
Yeah,
I'd say okay. It looks like Horizon. It looks good graphically.
Yeah, because I'd like to know more about the world. Yeah. Like I would like to play a Horizon thing set in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because this does do stuff that Horizon doesn't do as well.
Yeah. And there's room for that.
I agree. But it is so shameless.
Oh, 100%.
It's
absolutely.
so bad.
It was just, I mean, at the very least, it's like, well, we did all this prep for this pitch. We're not going to redo all our art. Fuck you. It's like, it's funny. It's so obvious it's funny.
I mean, I can't believe Tencent thought that it could get away with it. I mean,
obviously there's going to be a response.
Knowing that you pitched the game.
Yeah.
You had to know.
Maybe if that hadn't happened, it would be different. But Sony has to do something to show they're actively defending their IP.
If only for your studios to let your studios know that you're going to bat for them.
Well, it's more for legal precedent. Like you have to actively defend your.
You have to see what'll happen. Yeah.
You have to try.
And then if you win, that sets the precedent for all the cases to come.
Right.
So.
But if you didn't even try, the next time something like this did happen and you did go after it, they'd be like, "Well, you didn't try to defend it against this."
And other developers will be way more apt to copy your stuff knowing you did not defend it before.
Yeah, you have to put up some kind of a resistance to it. So.
I agree. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. That's the new story. Like, the case was just filed. There will be more to come on that, and we will talk about it here on GameFace, I promise you. And then our final story for this week's lightning round is very good news for my fantasy team, and I think very good news for most people, and that is that Hollow Knight Silksong will be at Gamescom playable. And it is coming out in Q4 of 2025. As of right now.
Believe it when I see it.
I will too. I'm still not counting on it coming out this year, Matt. I'm really not. I believe it will be at Gamescom. I still do not believe it's coming out this year. They could show it at Gamescom and still delay it till March or whatever. Yeah. So I'm not counting any eggs from that chicken just yet. I'm just gonna just wait and just see if it happens. But it is going to be playable at Gamescom for sure. That's already been announced officially. But the release date has not been announced officially. People are just deducing that. So hopefully at Gamescom we get a hard release date, not just Q4, but November 8th of 2025, a hard release date. But look, the wait is almost over for Hollow Knight Silksong. At the very least, we're going to see a ton of the game because we have been watching this same trailer for 10 years, it feels like, at this point here on GameFace. It'll be nice to have some new media for Hollow Knight Silksong, and it's on the way. Yeah.
When did that? Was that 2016 Hollow Knight?
Yeah. Or 2017 maybe.
This was supposed to be DLC.
It was. Yeah. Here we are 8 years later. This is insane. How did it take that long to?
And this was part of the original Kickstarter too.
Yeah.
It was a stretch
nuts.
goal.
It's freaking bonkers. All right. Well, we're running out of time. And we just have one thing left to do, which of course is. That's right, Sifters. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the wizards of game audio, movie audio, TV show audio, podcast audio, any kind of audio you need fixed or created or whatever. Go to Soundwizardry.com. They can do anything. They work on everything. They are good people over there. I promise you, if you work with Glenn at Sound Wizardry, you will not regret it. In fact, I promise you, you will come back to me and thank me for telling you to work with Glenn at Soundwizardry.com. They have worked on Game of the Year winners, Game of the Year contenders. I bet you they're working on a Game of the Year contender right now. Go to Soundwizardry.com. Again, what really sets it over the top for me is just the people there. They are just awesome, great people who love games just as much as we do. If you're working on a project and your sound people are not working out, go to Soundwizardry.com and your problems are solved. A couple things before we get going here. The way this game works is I show you, or I play you, 5 samples from a video game. You try to guess the name of the game before this guy. The chat goes into slow mode, so don't spam the chat with a bunch of random game titles. If you've already won this calendar year, please do not play. You can only win once per calendar year. And finally, If you don't like PC games, also don't play, because if you win, you get a free PC game, and we want to make sure that those codes go to a good home. Are you ready, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's bring up the interface for Name That Game Tune. And again, I apologize to our YouTube crew. Although our YouTube crew, is there even a crew? What I found is that our YouTube crew cannot hang with the 3 hours of GameFace. Like at the end, there's nobody left there. Only our Twitch crew can hang for the full show, it seems like. And I guess that shows you why. I mean, we couldn't even do Name That Game Tune right now on YouTube. These people are asking for it. There's nobody there to play.
How do you see how many people?
Well, you can just see that no one's chatting. Like the chat scroll hasn't moved in like 30 minutes.
Man, I watch YouTube all the time. I haven't chatted in years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's people that do, like, and we need those people if we're going to play. Anyway, we're going to play on Twitch. All right, let me bring up soundboard here. Bring in the files. Oh. All right. Are you ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Oh, sorry about that. Turn up your headphones. All right, here we go. Name That Game Tune for GameFace 444. Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1.
Mad Max.
Not Mad Max. Rosencrantz already got it. He got it already. He got it.
He said that before.
Are you kidding me? Before
No.
I played a sample?
No, yeah, because he's right above Vincent saying there's still 51 viewers on YouTube.
What the hell? Are you kidding me?
No,
Rosencrantz, how did you do that? It is Sea of Thieves. That is the game.
wow.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Doesn't even need to hear it now. This is how far ahead of you
What
everybody
the
is.
heck? What the heck? How'd you do that? Does he guess Sea of Thieves every week?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
What are the chances of him just guessing that? That is mind-blowing. How did you do it? Let us know. I'll play the rest of them while you type. Here's the second one.
Which?
Seriously. Here's the third one. Here's the fourth. And here's the last one. I don't know how you did it, bro. It's amazing.
He hacked the Gibson
He
of
did.
Shane's mind.
It's crazy. That's really insane. He hacked the mainframe. He read it on your face.
Yeah,
He read Sea of Thieves on my face. That's incredible, Rosencrantz. Great job, man. As you probably know, you can get at me here on Twitch. You can get at me on Twitter. I'm at Dinfire. On Blue Sky, I'm at Shane Satterfield. On the site, I'm at Shane. Just send me a message. We'll exchange information. And then, actually, we're at the end of the month here. So you'll be getting your game here in the next day or two, along with everybody else who won during the month of July. So congratulations, Rosencrantz. I still don't know how you did it. Did he just disappear? Does he even know that he won?
He hasn't said anything.
I don't think he even know he won.
I think it's still in slow mode, so maybe he can't talk.
Oh, it is still in slow mode. And that's probably the problem. Can you turn off slow mode, Vincent, very quickly? Because he probably can't enter another chat. I did, he said. I did what?
I don't know. Did he say something else?
Makes it even funnier. He just wrote, I did. And we don't know what he did. Anyway, get at me, Rosencrantz. Congratulations, man. It's pretty insane that you did.
He did. He did.
It's nuts.
Just the first game that came to mind.
Is that what it is?
That's what he said.
Wow. That's
100%
insane.
luck, he says.
Should I have let him win? Even though he guessed it before I played a sample?
I don't know.
I did, but should I have?
I don't know.
In hindsight, was it a good idea?
He did. I did. You did. We did. Katie did.
Yeah. Well, all right, party people. That's going to do it for GameFace episode 444. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I had a lot of fun here talking games with you today, Matt.
We did.
We did. Seriously. Hey, if you like this show and you want to support us, it would be awesome if you could head on over to patreon.com/SIFTD. That's spelled SIFTD. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early. You get the show 3 days early, Packer Factor a week early. You get a nice little window there, and we'd appreciate it very much. That would be awesome. If you don't have any money, that's totally cool. If you have Amazon Prime, you can still give us money totally free, which is just mind-blowing. You hear us talk about it all the time, watching GameFace, about Twitch Prime. That's what we're talking about. Just connect your accounts. If you're watching on YouTube right now, go down below. There's step-by-step instructions. It'll take you a couple minutes to connect your accounts the first time. After that, it literally is like 2 or 3 clicks to renew every month. So if you haven't renewed for a while, it'd be great if you could go to twitch.tv/SIFTD and renew that. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, that's totally cool as well. Just review the show, like the show. Particularly reviewing the show on podcast services would be great. That can make a big difference for us. That's how the search engines work. The more you guys like it, the more that you guys leave reviews, the more they bubble up in search when people search for video game podcasts. That would be awesome. And you can just comment on the show, leave a review of the show, just like the show. All that stuff makes a difference and can help us in a bunch of different ways. So I hope you guys have an awesome week filled with awesome games. We'll see you next Tuesday. GameFace is up and out.